And we are live.
We were somewhere out round the Fantasmagorium on the edge of horror when the drugs began to take hold. I remember saying something like, I feel a bit lightheaded. Maybe Steve should drive. And then suddenly there was a terrible roar all around, and the sky was full of what looked like huge, giant bats, all swooping and screeching and diving around. The chat, which was going about a dozen miles an hour with the top down to hell. Let's go.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the second annual Devil's Night free-for-all here on the Phantasmagorium Show. I'm your co-host, Steve Foley, joined today by Scott R37 and Catherine. And it looks like we'll probably get
How do you know it's Cat? How do you know it's Cat?
Well, the name right there.
Oh, no, you have a name tag. You are the worst ghost face killer.
So we should have some of our friends joining us later throughout the show. We'll be popping in and out, I assume, kind of like last year. Last year was fun. Went on probably way too long, but we had a really good time doing it.
Always.
So we figured we'd do it again.
I think there was fire last year.
It is going to be a free-for-all, so we'll probably talk about a ton of different topics. But we did pick a handful of topics to actually go through. So we'll get to those here in a little bit. And then we can ask, people that come on kind of, who their favorite directors or horror directors are. So we'll do horror directors, horror icons, underrated horror films, and then horror films.
Well, I have a question to ask you, Kat, because I know it'll be difficult to answer with the mask on. Are you a dyed-in-the-wool horror fan in terms of the genre itself, or are you a person who sort of is more surface level icing, or do you get deep into the cake?
I really love the horror genre, but I find that really good horror films are very few and far between.
What? Okay, and we'll get to that. We'll get to that because I don't want to start ranking. But when it comes to horror films, is it more about the gore? Is it about the tension? What is it that draws you to that genre?
It's tension and suspense. I mean, there's nothing scary about gore, blood, or guts. That's just, people are into the torture porn crap, okay. And just because that stuff makes people squeamish doesn't mean it's scary. Like, that doesn't make you afraid to go walking down the street at night or in the broad daylight even, There's nothing really scary about that. And so many, the slasher subgenre of horror has really gotten bogged down in blood, guts, and gore and high body count to the point that it's just so flat it does nothing. So I like a lot of old school horror films. But even then, some things that people tout as some of the greatest horror films ever, I'm like, It really varies.
Well, and Steve, with the Universal horror movie monsters, were those films that you saw as a child? Are there characters that you enjoyed?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, we had on Sundays here on one of the ancillary channels. I think it was channel 13. We had on Sundays they had Kung Fu Theater, but we had Movie Macabre, right? So we had Elvira was the host, and we had these, we got to see all kinds of old school movies, horror movies on that show. So I was very familiar growing up. I've always been attracted to horror films of all types. Horror comedy is probably the least of which I like. Out of all of those kind of subgenres, but there's some good ones like Tucker and Dale versus Evil, Bubba Hotep, and You know, so there's some really good ones. Every
Little
once in a
Shop of
while.
Horrors, yo. Come
Little Shop of,
on.
right.
Feed me,
So
Seymour.
yeah, I do like those old early, you know, Universal Monsters pictures, but I really liked, like I was a huge fan of Poltergeist when I was a kid, you know.
I just saw it
So
recently.
yeah, so I love those movies coming up. You know, that 80s, I guess that late 70s, early 80s was a really good time for those kind of this comfort horror movies. You know, you got Steven Spielberg making horror movies. It was really cool. So yeah.
But okay, so there's a big 4. Is it 4? Hey, Phil's here. Yeah, before we start rounding out, let's go back to the originals. But I want to say hello to the chat before we do anything else. I apologize. I need my regular glasses, my costume glasses. They do not magnify.
So yeah, Phil says he loved the ghost face, and so I did want to thank Phil for letting us borrow his topics. These were going to be his Halloween show topics, but wasn't able to do those, so we cribbed them. Thank you very much for letting us do that. Those topics sound familiar. Yes, they do.
Thank you for noticing the Richard who says you're already rank. Well, okay, as long as I have rank.
Right.
Is that smell?
Uh-huh.
All right.
He's got scratch and sniff, smell-o-vision.
Big shout out to Rebellious Pastry in the chat. Hello, welcome, Rebellious Pastry. Thank you. I hope you're having a happy devil's
Black Wolf
night.
Alvarez says gore is for shock value, not scares. I like suspense more. I like psychological thrillers. My favorite type of horror film is psychological. And you know, some crazy stuff can happen too. I dig that. You know, on my list, and this isn't a secret, but The Exorcist is my favorite horror movie of all time.
I just saw
But
that
it's
time all the way through about a month or a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I find The Exorcist to be more of an adventure movie than it is a horror movie.
I like the storyline with Father Karras. I like that character arc. I think it could have been executed a little better. But I don't know. I just didn't find it scary at all, and I kind of I misremembered the prologue. For some reason, I thought the prologue was just the Father Merrin traveling through the ruins with this red tinged tint to the screen and a creepy soundtrack playing the whole time for like 20 minutes, but it wasn't. I don't know. Maybe that was one of the sequels or something. But I kind of like the story. I just feel that once it gets to, rotating heads and projectile vomit and stuff, it's just not scary anymore. I mean, it was, and the detective thing was a little, okay. So I love the ending though. Like that's an iconic ending.
When I saw it was so young, it left that impression, So go ahead.
I know so many people who have cited The Exorcist as being one of the scariest movies ever made. It is something that traumatized them the first time that they saw it. And I went and I saw it, and it was one of the first movies that I was afraid to see. And when I finally saw it, I was like, this is an adventure movie.
It's kind of like Jaws. Jaws was traumatic, especially if you live like where I live, by the water, by the beach.
I was going to say the same thing. Jaws, to me, there's a couple jump scares in it, and there's a little bit of tension, but I always thought of it more as an adventure film because I didn't live near the ocean, and in general, I don't like swimming in the ocean anyway, always getting hit by the current, so I just thought it was a really fun movie. But yeah, it's definitely, falls into the, kind of like Jurassic Park. It's a classic B monster movie story, but it's elevated to A grade by Spielberg.
Right. Do you consider that a horror movie?
What, Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
No. I get that other people might.
What about Jaws? Do you consider Jaws a horror movie?
No. A lot of people do, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it consistently ranks in the top spot of, like, scariest movie of all time and all these countdowns. I'm like, But, I just feel that movie is an adventure first, and you can still have tension and suspense and some jump scares in an adventure film. Like The Goonies, you have stuff like little jump scares here and there, but I just always thought of Jaws as like an adventure film.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Agreed. Also,
But out near the water or at a beach town where that's your primary thing every day,
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to take off the mask because that would be weird and I wouldn't impose that upon you. But I know I said hi, Cat, and I know you've got like little text at the bottom of your screen that says it is Cat. I don't know if you've murdered Cat and made a voice modulator and taken her place. Oh, well, then that proves it. You're Cat. Thank you.
Jack. Hi, Simone.
Hey, Simone.
Hanging out.
Hey, it's my favorite part of, is that Spectre? The beginning of Spectre?
No.
Nutcracker.
Something. No, if you want the beginning of Spectre, that would be this.
Oh, delish.
And you could take its head off and, should have brains in there, but.
Well, you can put your weed in it.
That
wasn't an advocation for marijuana use. That was a reference to a 1990s Adam Sandler skit on Saturday Night Live. So, but when it comes, okay, so, and I apologize, I brought attention to your ghost face. But there's another ghost face. Oh, nice.
That's all I got today.
It's fine.
They're pretty realistic.
I actually asked Steve before the show, and I was like, is this a costume or is this how I look every day? And he's like, every day, dude. Every day. Pretty, you're a Vegas visor.
I know what you're going for, but yeah, it's every day. It's every day.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Well, let's welcome Ben from Cinema Gulp to the show. Hi, Ben. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us again.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, and someone who absolutely enjoys Halloween to an incredible degree. Cinema Gulp has put out, 7 videos this month?
We put out
6 for celebration.
We put out 6, but our 7th one comes out tomorrow, and we're putting it out live. So
bingo.
You could interact in the chat.
Yeah, we'll do that. Black Phillip Alvarez says, fun fact, Poltergeist was the first horror movie I saw in theaters at 4 years old. Wow. Face peel scene scared me for years. That face peel scene was pretty traumatic.
That's all Toby Hooper right there, man. For people that say he didn't direct that movie, bullshit. He directed that movie.
Hey, LDG. Hi. Just want to say hello. Black Phillip Alvarez says.
And
The
Cat.
Exorcist. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. You're reading. Sorry. Go ahead.
The Exorcist is my favorite horror movie of all time for sure.
Mine too.
And I understand that. There are 2 camps. Or at least that I've encountered. But I do. I think that The Exorcist is more of an adventure movie with overcoming evil at the end, like a boss fight, as opposed to actually being a consistently tense movie. I think that it starts off with building the lore, and then it moves on to the specific, and then the hero from the beginning of the movie comes back to defeat the evil that he meets, and that's the structure of the movie. I don't find it to be a horror movie. I think it's an adventure movie.
And that goes in line with because I heard right before I jumped on, I heard Kat talking about The Exorcist. And I believe when you're talking about Father Dyer giving the sermon, that is from Exorcist 3 with the eerie music and the opening and showing the stairs. And I love Exorcist 3 very much. Yeah, really.
That's the
cool
only
movie.
real, I've only seen 2 Exorcise. And thank you.
I've never seen The Heretic. I've just heard it was terrible, but I've never seen it.
Yeah,
Exorcist 3?
Isn't there an alternate cut that's a lot better?
That's the one I saw.
Well, there's one called Domino or something, or Dominion, or I don't know. There's some other Exorcist the beginning that went through 5 different reshoots. They redid the whole movie at some point.
But that was after George C. Scott.
Way after. Way after. Yeah.
But the one with George C. Scott is good.
That's 3. I love recasting Kinnaman as from with George C. Scott. Great choice. Quiet, eerie movie, great dialogue, great edits. I love Exorcist 3. It's great.
Okay, and before we move on, this is a horror stream, and I do want to ask because it seems like a psychological horror. Steve, you're a fan of psychological horror.
Yeah.
Remember? Okay, and this is a meme. I am literally asking you guys a question. I have a pen, I have paper, I will write it down. So, you know the movie where George C. Scott is sitting in the theater and he's like, "Oh, turn it off. Turn it off." And it's like a gif and a meme where he's being shown something very terrible. From what I understand, it is on par with, in terms of George C. Scott's performance, it is akin to something like 8mm starring Nicolas Cage, where George C. Scott is watching a similar, I believe it's referred to as a snuff film. And it is psychologically horrific for him, and it is all portrayed through the performance.
What movie is it? Or
Yeah,
is that what you're asking?
that is the question. And
Because
anyone in the chat.
I love his little streak of horror movies. The Changeling is another intelligent, quiet, eerie. We did that on the show a couple years ago. I fucking love The Changeling. It's so eerie, and it's got such a great payoff at the end. Cat's gone.
Oh no, she turned the lights off to kill Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
But I'm sure she'll be
the
back.
Marlon Wayans Ghostface, the scary movie.
No, I'm the one.
Remember that running down the stairs with the piano coming down? It's just iconic.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. What are your favorite horror parodies or satires?
I'm a fan of Dracula Dead and Loving It. I know people fucking hate that movie. People hate it. It's a drunk watch.
Right.
The scene where they stab the vampire chick and just so much blood sprays out for like a 2-minute scene. And the guy from Wings, I always forget his name. The guy from Wings that was in
Steven Weber.
Steven Weber is just like, oh my God, so much blood. It's so funny. It's a terrible movie, but you're talking about spoof movies. So are there going to be any good ones? You know, like
it's been a long time since I've seen that movie, but I remember as a little kid liking it.
Well, Young Frankenstein is my favorite by a mile, if you consider that one.
Of course I do.
Young Frankenstein is fucking epic. I love
That's probably the best one.
Yeah.
Have you seen Repossessed?
No.
It stars.
Yeah, I saw that.
It stars Leslie Nielsen and Linda Blair. And it is basically a Naked Gun. Well, it's a Leslie Nielsen spoof of The Exorcist and horror movie.
Oh, that's what that's called. I remember seeing the posters, but I never saw that. Yeah.
And it is, you know what? For a little time when I was going through puberty, I had a thing for Linda Blair.
Yeah, she grew up. She grew up really cute.
She was fit. She was like Olivia Newton-John hot for a little bit.
There was an early 80s haunted house slasher movie with her, and I think it was called like Kill House or something. A throwaway, but I remember that being, she was like a college student. That was the first time I was like, oh my God, the Exorcist girl, like she growed up. She growed up.
Well, it's kind of like, anyway, I was going to get into Tracy Gold from Growing Pains, but, you know, that'll never happen.
Well, she never
Stay
did.
on target.
Yeah, exactly.
Did she ever
focus on the topic, Scotty? Anyway.
Let's read some chat, Scotty.
Yeah, let's.
I don't want to get too far behind on them. We'll just kind of keep up with them.
Anti-derivative Jill, very good friend of the channel, and y'all should subscribe. It is as simple as punching in Anti-derivative Jill into the YouTube search bar. My first horror movie that I saw when I was 4. You were 4 and you saw Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
Yeah.
I admire your parents.
So this movie, I can't remember. It was either HBO or Showtime or one of the early ones. Just showed this movie like on repeat. It was like every day or every,
I just want to know what it's like for Jill to be a juggalo. No?
Hell
Too
Night.
much?
Hell Night.
All right.
Hell Night. Hell Night was the name of the Linda Blair
Hell Night.
1981 slash movie. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Hell Night.
Thank you. The Richard says The Exorcist is hilarious every single time I see it. Thank you for the Beetlejuice. Thank you.
Every
Well,
single time I see it. Not to mention the fact that you're talking to a dead guy.
Well, I studied at Juilliard. I do enjoy Beetlejuice. If you have not seen Beetlejuice this holiday season, there is still time.
Is that considered a horror? Is it considered a horror comedy because it's not scary and it's not really intended to be scary?
I'm seeing that tomorrow night at the Crest, actually.
Yes, Cat with the win.
I think it falls under horror comedy. It has to, right?
Yeah.
Another movie which feels a bit more than horror than I remember was the original King Kong, which I saw at Tower on Monday night. And yeah, when you watch the whole segment of when they're going through the jungle and everything, it's like classic B movie monster horror, but it's actually really creepy and effective.
I saw that you went and saw. You're making the rounds, Kat. You're seeing lots of shit, lots of good old shit in the theater.
It's just one place.
Well, I just mean making the rounds, like seeing them all. Like we made a whole fucking video of the fact that we saw Dawn of the Dead in 3D, and that's just one movie. She's seen them all.
Kat is our senior film correspondent.
By the way, Dawn of the Dead in 3D was one of the funnest times I've had at a movie theater in a fucking long time. Like,
really?
And it wasn't because of the audience. We went and saw the latest show possible, so there was like 10 people in there besides our group. I forgot how awesome that movie is. Like the memory I had of it as a kid, it was like, oh, it's slow and it's boring. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. That movie hits the ground running and never stops moving forward. It's hilarious. It's frightening. Like some of the effects. It's funny. The effects really pick up once Tom Savini actually shows up in the movie. It's almost like they didn't have the effects until he got there on set. But I mean, that's not true. But man, the music, like the funny banter, the satirical nature of it. And then they added, for the 3D showing, they added lots of stuff to come at you. But it doesn't feel ham-fisted. It's all earned. It's all part of the scene, but they added like glass coming at you and things coming at you and blood coming at you. And it was used sparingly. So when a nice 3D thing hits the screen, everyone goes, whoa, it's really good use. Plus, it adds to the clarity of the movie, it just makes the movie look more deep, so anyway, it was great. It was so good. I just had to blow that movie a little bit because it's a really good movie.
Quick question. And I know this will end up being a conversation, so apologies in advance. But when it comes to the horror remakes, is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake the best out of all of them?
Which one? Like
the one with Jessica Biel?
I never saw it.
Yeah, it is, but in a sense, it's not really a remake. It's just another reboot because it's a different plot. Different characters comprising the family. They got the original cinematographer back, which was pretty cool. The cinematography was absolutely gorgeous. The atmosphere of the film was amazing. They were smart enough not to try and recreate iconic roles. Like instead of trying to redo Jim Sedow as the cook, they had Arlie Ermey as the sheriff, which was amazing.
Yeah,
and instead
that's always a good thing.
The matriarch of the family, who's in charge of everything, was a woman who runs the butcher shop. And instead of the hitchhiker being the crazy hitchhiker from the original movie, it's a lone survivor of the previous massacre who they pick up who's like seriously disturbed. And it was a really good movie. Towards the end, it devolves into a typical chase, kind of like the original extended chase, but it has a lot of cool set pieces. And I thought, and Leatherface didn't have as much varying degrees in his personality as he did in the original, but I thought it was really good. And I think the only reason they called it a remake was for marketing purposes, but it's basically, a reboot because that spawned its own prequel and sequel.
Was that a Bruckheimer production?
Yeah. Bruckheimer was it? No, it was Michael Bay.
Was it Michael Bay's production company?
Yeah, Michael Bay produced it and Marcus Nispel directed it.
I remember something with Bruckheimer or Michael Bay, so I kind of stayed away from it back in 2003.
The first trailer they put out for it was excellent too.
I think I remember it being good. Yeah,
that was pretty good.
Well, and it was really interesting because it was very tension filled and yet not exploitative. I remember seeing the trailer and it had Jessica Biel in a white T-shirt, and I was like, I can't wait until that T-shirt gets wet. And you watch the movie, and at a certain point, you forget. Because the movie is just like, I hope she gets away. I hope she gets away. Like, it is a good horror movie, and it is exploitative, and there is a point where it's like, oh, there it is.
Well, it's great because she doesn't just get away. She takes vengeance upon the sheriff.
But also, it's one of those situations where she is the damsel in distress in the movie, but she is capable and she does get away, and there is only a little bit of, she didn't have to show too much to be a strong female character. Like, I think Jessica Biel, you know what? I think the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre is woke. I know, it's hilarious.
I think my favorite remake is in horror is Fright Night with Colin Farrell.
Wow.
Yeah, and Antoine Yelchin. That was good.
It was really good. It was shot. Usually I don't go in for the remakes. Usually, especially in the horror stuff. But for some reason, this one just hit.
Yeah, I heard that one was really good.
Perfect casting. I remember taking a date to see it because that was the 3D craze. So I saw it in 3D and it was really fun. But yeah, it was good casting. I love that they placed it in Arizona, so it was like a totally different look to it than the original. But yeah, good pick. That's a good one.
Yeah, I like that one.
You know what my favorite horror movie is, or my favorite Halloween movie is? Pardon me. E.T.
Yeah. But last night at midnight, I saw this.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's fun.
That was thrilling. That was great.
I love that movie.
Really fun turnout for it. But yeah, that's a really fun group movie.
It's so
but
great.
E.T.
I saw it in the theater when I was
trick or treating.
Yeah, I went to a street food cinema event in Malibu one time. Steve, you know street food cinema? Like where they put the big inflatable screen up and out in the woods somewhere. That was a fucking fun event. That was so much fun. Yeah, seeing the Lost Boys. I mean, I never get sick of that movie. I was just talking about that movie with John the other day, like how glossy it just doesn't have that 80s film grade. It doesn't. What I mean is, it doesn't date visually. Right. It looks like it could have came out today. Like, it doesn't get, aside from the fashion, Corey Haim walking around in this fucking robe, and the hair, and the fact that I'll never know to this day why Corey Haim's character Sam Emerson has a half-naked picture of Rob Lowe on his closet door. If you rewatch the movie, you can't unsee that scene. It's interesting, but.
So what you're saying is that I should.
Schumacher directed it. That's why.
Yeah.
What you're saying is that I should.
It's right after St. Elmo's Fire, so it makes sense. Yeah.
I should take down the half-naked picture of Rob Lowe that I have hanging on my bedroom.
There's nothing wrong with that. I thought it was just a funny touch. It was just a funny touch. But
it's Chris Traeger.
That's one of my favorite movies of all time, The Lost Boys. It's fucking awesome.
I have not seen it since a birthday party that I attended when it came out on VHS.
Speaking of good remakes, though, and the fact that I saw Dawn of the Dead 2 days ago, the Dawn of the Dead remake is fucking good.
I like that remake better than the original.
See, that's why I thought the original might be boring, because when I saw the remake, I'm like, wow, what an improvement over the original. But I mean, they're very different movies with totally different structure. I mean, they both take place in a mall. That's pretty much the only similarities they have. They're not shot for shot. None of the characters, none of the intention, nothing's the same. But yeah, the remake, I hate to say, Zack Snyder really knocked it out of the park, but he kind of did with that movie. So
yeah,
there's the Richard.
Who's this? Hey,
Hello, hello, hello. What's going on? Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, baby.
Good movie.
That looks like the remake.
Can you shine a light on your face? I need to see your license and registration, werewolf.
What's up, buddy?
How are you doing, sir? You look like a Klingon from the fourth dimension.
Long time no see
I left them at the bar.
As you do.
Wait, hold on. I had this all planned out.
You're right now. What you're doing, it seems like a tape that someone found in an actual horror movie right before you're about to kill somebody.
I was looking for a cutlass. We were okay. Well, this is a perfect opportunity to talk about horror icons, I suppose.
Sure. Do you have your list ready? I got mine ready.
I only have 4. How many are we supposed to have?
I don't know. I only have 6.
Okay.
How's my audio?
It's
Good.
You sound glorious. Whatever you do, keep doing it.
So,
I've decided that Halloween is a costume party as opposed to a horror affinity. You're welcome.
Yeah, I haven't said in my life. I just wanted to say hi.
And show off your severed head collection?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're a glorious man. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you and everything you do. What's going on? You've got a Freddy sweater.
Yeah. Well,
You got J.J. Abrams lighting.
Mhm.
And there's a monkey. No, that's that's a Freddy Krueger glove.
I just wanted to say hi. I'm setting up because I'm gonna paint in just a second.
Mm.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean,
You're more than welcome, and I appreciate your presence.
oh, did somebody say E.T. was scary?
No, I said it was a Halloween movie. I stumbled over the punchline, but I did it.
Black Phillip Alvarez considers Beetlejuice a horror comedy.
Mm.
Yeah.
This is going to be so hilarious when I ash myself into self-immolation.
Oh boy,
I
always
know,
I
right?
always thought ET was freaky, especially when he gets sick. That gave me fucking nightmares. I'm like, are you really putting that boy right next to that diseased alien, like right next to him with no anything, PPEs?
What was the question?
Yeah, are you guys like silent on purpose or?
No. We're really curious as to what Richard's going to do next.
Oh, okay.
Well, you guys were talking about certain horror movies, and you know that I have so many paintings.
Yes.
You,
Last year on this very show, you painted.
I
Yeah.
like John Carpenter's vampires very much.
As do I. I'm a big fan of, vampires. And that lady who played Sarah. Oh, who was the girl who died in Twin Peaks?
Sarah Palmer? Is it Sarah
Yeah,
Palmer?
but the actress's name.
Laura
I don't
Flynn Boyle.
Laura Palmer was the name of the victim in the television show. But I really appreciated seeing that actress show up in Vampires. And it was like, yay, you have a career. And then she never did.
That's streaming.
Oh,
on
that
Netflix.
was. Yeah.
You can grab that if you haven't seen it.
Which one? John Carpenter's, Vampires?
Vampire. Yeah.
It's good. You know what? It's not bad. It's a Western.
Dude, it's got Terry Silver in it, so it gets a pass for me.
But
Thomas Ian Griffith, aka Thomas Ian.
But in terms of horror icons, who are the people that you think of when
So
you think of
do we want to
this?
jump into our list? So here, favorite horror icons. I'll go through my list real quick. I only have 6. So they
I have
are
4.
number 1 is Tobin Bell, right?
Okay.
Jigsaw. I have
Can
Jamie Lee so I have I didn't put the actual character name. I put the actor's name. But I think we all know. So my horror icons: Tobin Bell, Jamie Lee Curtis, Danielle Harris, Robert Englund, Heather Langenkamp, and Michael Berryman. So that's my list.
Oh, I misunderstood icon.
Yeah, I didn't do the actors. I did the fucking
The
characters, but
Yeah.
I do appreciate where your head is at.
Piggybacking off the actors, I would agree with Michael Berryman, Tobin Bell, and Jamie Lee Curtis, and of course Robert Englund. I would also add Nick Castle.
Nick Castle for sure.
I think he was the best version of the Shape that they ever had.
The Punisher?
No, the Shape.
That's Frank Castle.
From
A good one.
Which one was it? It was. That's right. Here it is. I got all of my horror media down here. This is why for whenever we get to that segment of the show. But yeah,
Well, I can imagine you see clearly in that. Halloween. Hey, Kat, have you seen the new Halloween?
Oh God.
We did a show on it. Me and Kat.
Did you guys see all 3 of them?
Me and Kat did a show on the trilogy. Yeah.
Did you guys see all? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Should I invest or what?
Don't
You don't want to know my opinion.
There it is, Nick Castle.
I hate them all 3 of them.
Is it because of all the white people?
It's because
never ignore that. Ignore that.
Because the filmmaking is from a guy that does know how to direct horror movies.
I've heard.
Yeah, the first 2 especially are films which prioritize body count and blood, guts, and gore as opposed to tension and suspense. Even though there are a few scenes which were good in the first one they did, the second one was just awful. And the third one, much smaller body count, but just awful again, because it just doesn't even feel like a Halloween movie. It's like they clearly didn't have story for these 3. Enough story for a third, but
Well, okay, and you guys obviously, I would assume, are Halloween film sort of aficionados. Have you seen?
I just got this in the mail from Shout Factory.
So I would say that yes, my consideration is accurate. What do you think about Halloween 3?
Season of the Witch?
The one where they have the toy store.
It's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
I've never seen it before.
Bonkers, man. It's crazy.
It gets a bit too corporate towards the end. It's like, of course, it's the 80s, so they're gonna, corporate America has to be the bad guy, and it's like
Got the leader of OCP.
Supposed to be some Celtic ritual or whatever, but it's just a bunch of guys walking around in like business suits, and you had a bunch of guys who basically were the pretext for Agent Smith and the Matrix running around in this movie.
That's probably the first movie where you really see John Carpenter's like political leanings pop out in a movie, or societal undertones, like things like that. Because he wrote it.
I don't think he wrote that one actually, or he made it. Oh, he did write it. Did he write the whole thing, or did he get help on it? I can't remember.
I don't remember, but I know he was the Stonehenge thing was all him for sure.
I like that movie.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. It's not like frightening. I mean, the idea of it is, but it's just like, I mean, dude, it's an interesting one for sure. I mean, Tom Atkins having sex with someone way younger than him, drinking beer the whole time, ditching out on his surgeries as a doctor. You got to love the protagonist like that. Who doesn't get behind it?
Black Phillip Alvarez says, love the Fright Night remake. Colin Farrell brings it. Yeah, he does. It was a really good one.
Well, and also David Tennant.
David
filling
Tennant
in for Roddy McDowall.
And for Roddy McDowall was a great choice. And I love how they changed his character a lot. Yeah, good call. That was a fucking awesome choice. And again, don't forget Anton Yelchin kind of spearheaded the movie.
Yeah.
He was a great young actor, would have done a lot of good stuff.
Yeah,
But
Lost Echo
also,
too early.
like, and just as a divergence in terms of my consideration of what terror is, like, if I watch Fright Night, I am absolutely on the edge of my seat. I'm smiling the entire time. I can't wait to see what happens to these people. Who's gonna die? Who cares? Whatever. I watch Anton Yelchin in Green Room. Far scarier movie, far more terrifying movie about a group of people who don't know what they're doing and are lured into a situation out of their control. And not only is it difficult to escape, but there are people around them that want them not to escape. I
That's a
find
good
that
movie. Yeah.
far more
That
terrifying.
movie was
I like that one.
terrifying and disturbing. That was one of our very first reviews. I think that was our third review ever. Was Green Room. I love
Green Room?
because I love the director. He did Blue Ruin. I think his name is Jeremy Sauvignon. He's pretty awesome.
Patrick
I don't
Stewart
know.
was in that movie, right?
Sorry?
What's that?
Patrick Stewart was in that movie, right?
Yep.
It was the only time that you got Chekhov versus Picard. Yeah.
Just Patrick Stewart playing a Nazi is crazy.
And
Black
he's
Bolt.
really convincing. And you know what? And I'm not saying that because I'm trying to make a slight against Patrick Stewart. Like, he's really scary in that movie until he gets spoilered.
Right. It gets spoilered. Black Phillip says, here are his icons, horror icons: Freddy, Michael, Jason, Leatherface, and Chucky. Right. Yeah.
Well, that's original, Phil.
Right. The standard one.
No, no, he's right.
Sometimes the standard ones are the best ones, though.
Well,
Another
no,
icon
and
I
don't.
forgot to list is, of course, the xenomorph from the original Alien.
Yeah.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, Tim.
Because how is
How
that?
about 28 days later?
Yeah. 20 days later.
Just seeing that damn egg.
Well, and that's another thing where it is a horror movie based on a situation beyond any of the people's control. Like, it's like Cillian Murphy wakes up and he's just like, what? I'll get Pepsi. And then, like, 28 Days Later is a terrifying film that is peppered with hope, and then it rips away almost everything, and then for some reason it gives a happy ending.
Well, the original ending was not very happy, and they filmed it. If you see the alternate ending, it's actually pretty dour.
I was living there when this happened.
Huh?
I have seen the original ending, and it is very dour, but yes, I agree with you. Yeah, the original ending.
They had to block off the streets.
Because of the zombies?
So I'll go.
They had hookers and prostitutes and strippers out there to block the cars.
What are we
What are
talking
you
about?
talking about?
Yeah, I don't know what is going on.
No, I'm talking
Well, have you ever
about
seen, like,
yeah,
that is,
28 days later, off the bridge. Yeah,
I thought that was Zira from Planet of the Apes.
The production. Oh, okay.
yeah. But when I watched this, I was with my girlfriend Wei Lin.
Good
Black Phillip in the
story.
chat says, I think Inns was supposed to
I'll
be
be
an
right
homage of part 3, which makes no sense because they didn't originally they pretend the sequels never existed? Yeah, I thought that was the plan for these new Halloween movies, that they would be they would just
I
be
don't see how
direct
it was.
sequels.
If by part 3 he means homaging Season of the Witch, I don't see how. I mean, yes, they had the masks in the second and the third one. Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, but nothing about the plot or the story homages Halloween 3.
I did hear that there was, and again, this is just internet scuttlebutt, is that at the end of the new Halloween movie, it was going to show like a factory in a town that pumps out the masks or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. He talked about that briefly as a plan, and then he thought it would just be too meta, and that the fans will love it because it homages the original, but he thought it would be distracting. And I'm thinking, that probably would have been better than they had.
Yeah. But it's a great idea for trailer bait, but also, I don't know. I don't know why. Whenever I am in my ultimate I don't know stage, I turn into Ray Romano. I don't know. Moving on.
John Carpenter has to be on the icon list as well.
Yeah.
John Carpenter is on my director's list. Yeah, for sure. You guys want to do your director's list? Your
Well, I think, Kat, did you have a list for horror icons? I
Well,
think
as a
my
list,
mistake, my
I
mistake.
have The Shape from the original Halloween film, or the original two at least.
That's
I
why I
have
love
Nick
you. You
Castle.
call him the Shape.
yeah.
That's because it's different from Michael Myers in that way. So I'd have Dick Warlock and Nick Castle, who played the Shape in the first two movies. I'd have John Carpenter for director, Toby Hooper for director,
Mm.
the original Texas Chainsaw, like Leatherface from that, because it feels like a more rounded character in a way. The Xenomorph from the original Alien, and the
The
original
alien is on my list, you son of a bitch.
the original Nightmare on Elm Street. None of the other ones.
Yeah, Freddie, I got him.
Yeah, and then The Thing, of course. And then there's more recent horror films which have excellent atmosphere, like The Witch or The Lighthouse, and
Hereditary.
that aren't like things that aren't like or Hereditary, more full blown horror, but some of them aren't full blown horror, but they feel a lot more eerie than a lot of the modern, straight up horror films.
Yeah.
I got Hannibal Lecter on my list.
Nice.
That's good. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's psychological thriller. I read those 3 books in 6th grade and I liked them a lot. I thought that I am surprised that I thought Brett Ratner did a better job than Ridley Scott in one of the films in that series when he made Red Dragon,
I
as
agree.
opposed to Hannibal.
I agree. Yeah.
Gary Oldman was great at Hannibal, but that was like the only highlight. The rest of and then what's his name? Giancarlo Giannini was good as Inspector Pazzi, but other than those 2 roles, the rest of it was just But yeah, it's kind of hard. I'm thinking about icons because a lot of more modern horror, in a sense, doesn't embrace the slasher type, the icon. It's like there's a lot of one-offs which are really good. Like you were mentioning Green Room, that's one of them, It's like how often do you see something that's that intense and freaky in what are more or less a modern horror film? Like what we had this month for horror was, we had Smile, there was the new Halloween movie,
Yeah.
and both of which were whatever, and I mean the Black Phone, that was good, but that was released back in the summer.
You know what? I've never seen Tusk. I am
That's on my watch list.
I am very afraid of the movie Tusk in terms of the body horror. Like it is something that truly frightens me. And I recently just rewatched Event Horizon. Truly terrifying to me.
Ben, did you have a list, an icons list?
Yeah, mine's a little different. Just
Sure.
because it's basically like characters, but I have Jack Torrance as being one of the scariest just transformation of a character to what he becomes. I just love the image of Sam and the idea of Sam from Trick or Treat. It's not super scary. It's just very interesting. And I wish had they continued making anthology movies with Michael Dougherty, I would have loved to have seen Sam get fleshed out more. I'm with Kat sort of. I like the Mama Xenomorph. The original one's probably the best, but I just love the practicality and how much work went into the Mama Xenomorph and Aliens. Like it's like I believe that thing is fucking real. Like it's at a zoo somewhere in a big fucking cage because there's no way that's fake. And then lastly, this is a weird one because it's someone who is never on screen, not even in the same timeline as the movie, but Mary Hobbs from Session 9.
No,
It's just a voice from tapes, but all the session tapes are of Mary Hobbs.
Yeah.
And it's some of the most frightening shit that I will never forget.
I
So
love that
even
thing.
though you see an image of her in a black and white photo, but her voice is just throughout the entire movie as he's listening to those old tapes. So I give that person, I may be all by myself on giving Mary Hobbs an iconic credit, but fuck, what a something out of nothing, like just a voice of a woman changing into different characters. Yeah, so that's it for me. A little different, but
No, it's fine. Perfect.
Well, and by the way, you're not allowed to swear on the show.
I should take my leave.
No, you're more than welcome, sir. I apologize for pointing out your cursing.
I can't tell if Scotty's joking or not.
That I've always had a very specific problem with, what's it called? Sincerity.
Tiger Stripe says Hannibal, the TV series, was incredible. Brian Fuller is one of my favorite showrunners. Yeah.
And I don't understand long form horror anthologies. Now, we've talked about this, Steve, and I'm sure that many other people are fans, but like American Horror Story, I find that to be an incredible presentation of performance, but not necessarily like, I don't know, is it visceral? Does it really capture you? Or do you just be like, oh, that was clever?
I think the first 2 seasons, like 10 years ago, did for me. The first 2 seasons, but that's it.
Okay.
I really liked the 4th season Freak Show because it did have allusions to Freaks, the movie from 1932, and I thought that was really good. I was engaged with all the characters, and then I hadn't seen the earlier seasons, and the only season after that I saw was season 9, I think it was, the one with 1984, which is like a Friday the 13th kind of send-up, which was addicting to watch because it was like really suspenseful, but I mean, certain story points I didn't care for, like why is Richard Ramirez in this series is kind of macabre, not in a good way either. Yeah. But it was still a fun send up.
Yeah.
And I've seen the pilot episode of season 1 a few times, but never got to see the rest of the season. But I like the tension and bit they were setting up from that.
I like the first season. I think I've seen all of them except the newest season. They're okay. They're hit and miss for me.
May I excuse myself for just one moment?
Of course. There is no excuse for you.
There is no excuse for me.
Black Phillip Alvarez says Tusk is so weird, but only Kevin Smith could pull off that kind of movie. Yeah. I have to. It's in my list to watch. It's on my watch list. Just haven't gotten around to it yet. And I think, so Phil sends his list in for directors. John Carpenter's on my directors list, along with Wes Craven, Tobe Hooper, George A. Romero, and David Cronenberg. Yeah, you know what? Only a couple of those are on my list. I love all of those guys. Sam Raimi too, obviously, right?
I would say that Wes Craven, I think his 3 best movies are his first 3. Last House on the Left.
Yeah.
Hills Have Eyes and the original Nightmare on Elm Street.
I agree. I agree with that.
I mean, I like the Scream movies. I think they're really fun, but I think they're fun more so because I'm a sucker for the whodunit genre, and that's basically what it is, and it's a satire of that. And other than the first 13 minutes of the original Drew Barrymore, which is like genuine horror, the rest of it is just all the other movies are just fun, fun little whodunit movies. Like, let's see, I got both of these on Steelbook. The original.
I'm a big fan of that. Of this.
Wes Craven, Deadly Friend.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think where is it? Oh yeah, and then I just got the new Steelbook for Scream 5.
Oh yeah.
That was gorgeous, but so yeah, those are because most of the time for Wes Craven's films I didn't find them really scary. Like Last House and Hills Have Eyes I found a bit disturbing because the way they were shot, they feel like they're legit like home movies or documentaries almost, which made it feel more real because like the dialogue in Last House on the Left was terrible. But it didn't matter that it was terrible because it felt like you were watching somebody's creepy found footage home movie thing, even with the way the cameras are shot. And it was it's like it makes you kind of feel dirty watching it. Yeah. Whereas Hills Have Eyes starts out like a standard horror movie plot, but then it quickly takes off into this other crazy thing. And so that was a really great one too. I got the Arrow set of both of those coming in the mail.
Nice. Yeah, I have. So I have some shout outs for directors. We'll get into my directors list here in a minute when Scott and Ben come back. But I do have shout outs that didn't make the list, like David F. Sandberg, Jennifer Kent, M. Night Shyamalan, and James Wan.
It's good. Those are good.
But those are just kind of shout out ones.
I would also shout out Andy Muschietti for the 2 It movies, or the first.
He actually made my list.
Oh, he did. Cool.
Yeah, I'm a fan of his work. It's it's really good. I'm so excited to see what he does with the Flash.
And of course, I got the Pennywise.
Yeah, I was noticing that.
Jennifer Halloween, but because those 2 movies are just, at least the first one he did was just excellent.
Yeah, I really like the first one.
Yeah. Second one, I mean, not so much, but
Right.
got to finish the set.
Yeah. So yeah, let's hop into favorite directors.
Yep.
Scotty made a costume change.
I can't find my buttons.
Are you going for some kind? What does that look? Interview with a vampire?
Sure. Let's say I'm a vampire. Call me
Are
Satan.
Are you a Nicolas Cage vampire? I'm a vampire.
I have never misspelled anything. A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Yeah, it's the best.
No, I got neighbors. I can't do it all. Anyway, no, I'm. I don't know. It's a free for all. Am I not allowed to just look like me? You said I looked like me before.
Interview with the Vampire is a really fucking good show.
I've never seen the show. I've only seen the movie.
You haven't seen the show yet either. Okay, horror directors. I'll give my horror director list.
Okay.
This isn't the comprehensive list. This was just, hey, let's jot some stuff down because, man, you could, especially in this genre, there's a ton.
Welcome to the production quality of the Fantasmagorium. We do research.
Right. So I have, and these aren't in any particular order. I didn't order them best to worst. Wes Craven, Robert Eggers, Clive Barker, Scott Derrickson, Guillermo del Toro, Sam Raimi, Ari Aster, Andy Muschietti.
Who the hell is Ari Aster?
Hereditary.
Midsummer.
Yeah. Fede Alvarez.
But you love your pew.
Fede Alvarez is a badass. Yeah.
I never saw the remake of Evil Dead.
It was really good. It was really good, and he also did Don't Breathe, which was really good. Yeah.
And while you guys were gone, my shout outs were Jennifer Kent, David F. Sandberg, M. Night Shyamalan, and James Wan. So it's kind of just, there's so many more, and there's so many good ones out there.
Well, I got a list. It's a short list.
Yeah,
it's a short list. Because, again, as I've mentioned before, like, I'm an aficionado. I wouldn't call myself even remotely an expert. I don't know horror as well as the people I'm currently surrounded by. And so my list goes in no particular order. Craven, Romero, Raimi. I'm throwing Lynch.
Yeah.
Carpenter and Kubrick.
Good. Very nice.
I don't know. Like, is that like too pedestrian?
No, that's great.
No, that was a good one.
Right.
I didn't put Kubrick on my list. He's my favorite director of all time, anyway. So he's just
it seems like you give him an award for everything.
Right.
Me too.
I do.
Why not? It's fucking awesome.
Well,
he deserves all the awards.
The lengths he goes to make an effective scary movie, right there gets all the respect. I mean, he wants his fucking actors miserable and scared and almost unhealthy on set. So.
But I'm not even talking about just The Shining. I'm talking about like Full Metal Jacket is scary as hell.
Fuck yeah, it is, dude. Yeah, totally, man.
So, and it's just like this is the reality of the situation. And as I mentioned earlier,
It's the movie that convinced me to join the Marine Corps.
And it was the movie that convinced me that would be terrible.
That would convince me the other way, Steve. There's other Marine Corps movies.
I'm a sick puppy. What can I tell you?
A Few Good Men made me want to go into the Navy. Very different. Very different.
Watching Frasier wanted me to achieve psychiatry as a degree. And that's why I'm Niles.
I can go if there's no
go
order. Because I just Hitchcock, fucking A.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah,
almost everything that's eerie and filled with tension and suspense and atmosphere is from Hitchcock to me. Like I have Shyamalan on there as one of my kind of honorable mentions because he is very effective as a director. He just gets in his own way with the writing sometimes, but as a director, he's fucking great. And he's a textbook Hitchcock student, pretty much.
I love to interrupt you. I was going and I've pulled a bunch of movies, and I'm gonna at some point gonna start flashcarding about the movies that the horror movies that I actually own. There are only 2 that I haven't seen, and both of them I want to. So, but when it comes to, is it 10? I don't know the definition of the horror film.
Does it scare you?
Yes.
Does what about a Hitchcockian film? I understand suspense.
It doesn't have to be a horror genre movie or even psychological thriller. If it scares you, it counts.
That's it?
Actually, I would evolve that conversation to Cthulhu in Star Wars.
Okay, I'll finish my list before this goes way off the rails.
Thank you.
Because your question had 4 different questions in it, so I got kind of lost.
I am incredibly stoned. I used to be dressed up like Hunter S. Thompson. Now I put on a jacket.
I have Joe Dante in there. I love Joe Dante. Kind of the not a pioneer of horror comedy, but definitely one of the best, and having so much fun doing it. And it just explodes through the screen when you watch a Joe Dante movie on how fun he wants it to be, but never at the expense of not being scary. Even something like Gremlins is scary, Tobe Hooper. I love almost everything he's ever done. I just recently watched the mini series, the Salem's Lot mini series, and it is a little slow. It didn't have a lot of money, but it's really well done.
I never saw the original Salem's Lot.
And I like James Wan a lot. I think he's a great filmmaker, craft wise. I did a whole exploration of him early on our show where he knows how to use the camera to really create scares, and that's a really good thing. And then lastly, my favorite is probably Carpenter. There's too many great ones. I know that's an easy one, but he's just great.
Clive Barker films for me. I love Clive Barker. One of my favorite horror movies, is Lord of Illusions. Love that movie.
Yeah, that movie's crazy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've never seen it, and I love Bakula. I've been trying to get a copy of that since forever, and I can't find it. It's kind of like In the Mouth of Madness. And when I say I can't find it, I mean I'm not paying $60 for your Blu-ray.
Right.
I'm gonna do what Richard does, by putting stuff up to the camera, but it's gonna be all the different pumpkin beers I drink instead of.
So this is my painting of Cujo, and that's actually one of my most popular paintings ever.
All I can see is a whole bunch of lights.
Yeah,
it looks
closer, or
can you Dr. Tongue?
Bring it closer.
This was I understand, and we've got a 10-second time lapse. But that's the first time Facebook offered to pay me. I got paid a few times.
I've only been paid twice, ever.
Kat, did you have a list?
Yes.
A list of your favorite.
In no particular order. I got John Carpenter, Wes Craven, Toby Hooper, Ari Aster, Robert Eggers, and I mean,
There's so many.
yeah, that's the thing. You can't really. And then some of them have individual titles which are really good and even better than other whole horror or vers, so to speak. But they're just one-offs, so I don't know if I put them in there or not. Like Andy Muschietti for It,
Right.
or Fede Alvarez for Don't Breathe. Yeah, even Ari Aster because so far he's only done 2, and same with Robert Eggers. He's done 2 in his third one. I mean, The Northman's very intense, but at times it tries to feel scary, but it's really not. Or even Edgar Wright when he did like Last Night in Soho, he tries to drive into the kind of more like real world type of horror type of stuff. So it like you said, the list is just direct. But even with Wes Craven, I only count his first 3, like Last House, Hills Have Eyes, and the original Nightmare.
I agree with you, Pat. Like when it comes to Craven, no on Scream, no. Yeah. I know it gets so much praise, but I'm with you. It's just not scary.
Well, it's not a horror. The first 13 minutes are excellent, and then after that, it's a fun movie. I've seen it a million times. I love it, but it's
the
not
very first Scream movie. The opening scene is fucking brilliant in every way. Yeah.
And then, but I also am not a fan of another one of his big horror movies everybody loves, The Serpent and the Rainbow. I watched that, and I thought. I didn't like Bill Pullman in that role. I thought it was not so much that he was miscast. I just thought that was the wrong character for that story that they were telling. It's like that doesn't feel right. It's a
weird movie.
It is weird.
I've heard that on a lot of directors' lists, even as well as their favorite Craven. I'm like, really? I only saw that for the first time last year, and then Poltergeist. That's one I saw for the first time 5 years ago.
Wait. Before we move on, because what is it? Substance abuse and premarital sex are the cornerstones of horror movies. One of the reasons that The Serpent and the Rainbow is one of my favorite horror movies that I've only seen twice, once and a half, is because the lady that I lost my virginity to showed that to me while we made out.
So that's not. So in other words, it's not the movie which is doing it for you. Then.
Nope.
Then it does not count.
Virginity, or was this a long-term thing that you couldn't figure out?
No, I've known this since forever.
A funny thing you mentioned about the whole cornerstones like sex and premarital, all that kind of thing in terms of horror, and how slasher films of the 80s just started doing that, where if you were promiscuous, you're going to die.
There's a rule.
Rules of horror. I find a lot of that was also misinterpreted from the original Halloween, where they're like, oh, you're punishing all the other teenagers because they're sleeping around. It's like, no, it's because they're sleeping around and they're not paying attention, and that's why they're all getting whacked.
Exactly.
Whereas but then again, I noticed at the same time that he's like, John Carpenter's like, well, Laurie lives because she's paying attention. And I'm like, not really, because she falls into the Shapes trap in the first movie and only gets away because Tommy unlocks the door and Loomis shows up.
She gets away because she's the nerd of the trio of girls. She's not after a dude. She's
right. But it's funny that Carpenter mentions that's why she lives, and I'm thinking, well, not really. She gets saved by Loomis. She was dead.
I think Friday the 13th was really the only one that was doing it out of the, you're going to die because of the sex thing. And then that just became like, oh, that must be it for everything. Other movies and franchises use that as a setup in slasher movies. Like, oh, a couple's having sex. So the guy's going to go to the bathroom and get killed. And the girl's going to go, Tommy, where'd you go? And then she's going to get killed. That was set up by Friday the 13th, but it had a purpose in Friday the 13th. And then it just became gobbledygook. Everybody's doing it,
Right, but a lot of people were blaming Halloween for that, like the original.
I know. That's what I mean. And it was actually like Friday the 13th. But
all right, I'll be back in a second. Ernesto is here. I got to go put on a tie.
Ernesto, welcome.
Evening.
Black Phillip Alvarez says, no love for Shocker. Yeah. Shocker is a great movie.
I forgot that's Craven.
It was a fun
movie. It's not scary, but it's bonkers for sure.
It's bonkers. Yeah.
Fuck. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Shocker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Richard's like behind us time wise, I guess. So he's hearing that.
I'm gonna restart.
Speaking
of, what about you, Ernesto? We're talking about horror directors.
Oh,
our favorites.
wouldn't say I have a favorite, but I do appreciate the kind of like the godfathers of the genre, at least where it is today. John Carpenter, obviously the one that everybody always brings up. Um, Although I'm not very good with horror film directors, but anyone who did like the original slasher films, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Freddy, and although I never saw them, you have to appreciate the impact the Scream movies have in cinema. So
Yeah, those are good ones.
I'll always appreciate Scream movie. Scream 1, especially for bringing back horror into the zeitgeist for teenagers and like making it something people care about. Because after 89, they were killing off all their icons. In 90, they killed off Freddy. In 91, I think they killed off Jason. And then it was just dead. And then Scream kind of brought it back. So even though I don't really like the Scream franchise, I appreciate it making people care about horror again. And then you got your obligatory 50 fucking Scream ripoffs after that, you know.
Well, I also like the more modern horror, which don't get behind particular slashers. They're like, you know, again, movies like The Witch or The Lighthouse. And let's see how long this goes before Scott realizes he's muted. And then, but
I thought he was doing that on purpose.
Movies that don't have, you know, a monster, so to speak, or like It Follows, which we were talking about with Ben on his video, that there's no real monster in that. It's kind of like very atmospheric, you know?
Yeah. Well, movies that cross genres, Session 9, like Brad Anderson's another one of those one-off guys. He made a brilliant horror movie with Session 9, but every movie he's made since has that essence to it. Trans-Siberian, even The Machinist. The Machinist almost acts as a horror movie through some of it. And Session 9... I
remember Trans-Siberian. That was good.
Yeah. Trans-Siberian is so good. It was his last kind of big movie, you know. But it had, you know, he brought back Climax Golden Twins to do the score. It had that similar, just creative suspense to it. But Session 9, it jams in like your supernatural horror, or is it your psychological horror, or is it your slasher? You know, without showing the kill, like it's everything. And
I love that movie.
Yeah.
And so that made my underrated horror film. So we might as well let's get into those. So we'll go underrated horror movies. I don't have a ton on my list. I have 7. And the first one
is more than you had for your favorites.
I know. No. My favorites. I have 10.
All right.
I have 10. And actually, that list goes.
All right. It's not 100. A metric horror. I didn't mean to yell.
So, underrated horror films. I have The Descent, Session 9, Cabin in the Woods, 1408, The Devil's Rejects, Cannibal Holocaust, and The Sixth Sense. I don't know how underrated The Sixth Sense is.
Yeah, wasn't it a Best Picture nominee?
Popular, but I don't know if that one actually makes the list or not technically. But the rest of them definitely do. Session 9 is, if you haven't seen Session 9, I highly encourage you to watch the movie.
Session 9 is the most underrated horror movie ever made. I will say that 100%. It's the most underrated horror movie ever made. If it was a bigger movie in 2001, so many movies would be ripping that off. So it's almost a good thing.
Yeah.
Which one?
Session 9.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Dude, Richard, you want to do a badass painting?
Totally different, but...
Look at the cover of Session 9 with just the chair and like just the secreted, like, look at the cover of that movie and fuck, that's a gnarly painting, acrylic painting right there, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to show you something. Well, first of all, and most.
Do you have a? Sorry.
No, most of all,
hey, it's Sid Haig.
Yeah. This is actually how Rob and I met, kind of. I'd met him when anyway, I went out to LA to see Sid Haig when he was in the hospital. I never got to meet him. But he's the one person I never got to meet that I really wanted to.
He just died recently, right? A couple years?
Yeah, well, 2019. Oh,
okay.
Yeah, recently.
Yeah, it was like a couple years ago.
Yeah, it was 2019. He literally died. No, like he literally died. I'm telling you.
Well, on the
Nice.
plus side,
Wow,
looks
that's a
nice,
nice
man.
one.
Yeah,
That
that was
looks
good.
great.
pardon me.
You guys are helping me organize because some of the things I'm going to burn, I'm going to destroy. I'll sell them or I will destroy them.
You're not doing that tonight, right? I heard there was a fire last year on this show, so.
Actually, there's a fire
There was.
tonight. Yeah, I'm not going to do it because literally the street over, somebody's house got caught on fire tonight. So yeah, I'm not going to do anything tonight.
Okay. Are those oil paintings?
I'm making my
Mostly acrylic. I generally do water with acrylic, though I do a lot with spray, as we saw last year, and I'm about ready to do something. But yeah, you mostly do acrylic, which is kind of water, essentially.
Okay, so it's not flammable.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say it's not.
Okay. See, you know what? If your painting is this good, it's really going to take away from when I unveil the human centipede that I've cultivated. Because I found 3 unwilling individuals.
You guys are so much bigger on the 4K releases. I always wait for the special edition vinyl. But this is a blood splattered. It's hard to see it, but it's a blood splattered vinyl of Return of the Living Dead.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
You know what? I've never seen Return of the Living Dead because I heard it was a horror comedy.
It's more horror, but it is one of the most entertaining movies you'll ever watch.
Hey, you guys didn't ask me what are my favorite scary movies. The one thing that really messed me up as a kid was Evil Dead 2, because at that particular age, we had health issues going on with my dad and everything, and I was up there and but I was not comfortable with comedy horror. I was not cool with it, and it grossed me out. It made me nauseous, and then when he blew his head off, it kind of really freaked me out. And Return of the Living Dead as well, because I couldn't understand the comedy. I like the horror. I like this and that and everything. Anyway,
all of the murder.
The murder. Black Phillip says, I also had Ready or Not, Idle Hands, and Zombieland. Zombieland, I love those films. Those films are good. I like both of those. Ready or Not was a surprise. I was shocked at how much I liked that film.
That movie was fucking crazy.
It's one of the coolest films, horror movies I've seen in theater, in the last 10 years, I think. I had so much fun with that. I think it's because my expectations were so low going in. I was like, this little horror film, we'll see if it's any good. And it really delivered.
The ending is just it went fucking full nuclear. It just didn't give a fuck. It went crazy at the end.
So Phil said he had a bunch of horror comedies on his list: Arachnophobia, Beetlejuice, Gremlins, Tremors, and the original Fright Night. Yeah. I can see that.
I watched Tremors the other day. Love that movie.
All right, Scotty, do you have a list for underrated horror films or not?
Underrated horror movies. Well, because I think that Gremlins is a Christmas movie, I think it's an underrated horror movie, but I think it's horrific. I think that The Wicker Man.
Ooh, good one.
Good movie. The original
is underrated. One, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, not the bees.
Not the bees.
But no, I think I think the original is, and again, this just sort of feeds into my dread of being alone and everyone else is against me. And so, if I were Sergeant Howie showing up on Summer Isle, then at the end of it, it's like, no one is here to help you. No one.
Yeah, no one's here.
God, that movie
that is terrifying to me.
It takes a turn in that movie that just scares you to death. Because you're
And
fucked.
so,
You're totally fucked.
well, and
Yeah.
so, like I'm a son of a cop. I have a certain
Right?
aspiration to authority, and like not aspiration to authority, but like if someone says that this is what's going to happen, then this is what's going to happen. Like I've been in China, and when I showed up there, I was just like, chill out, just let them know they're in charge and everything's going to be fine. But if I showed up in a horror movie of my own life, they would have burned me in a giant wicker man. I'm
Well
fine with
said.
this. Everything is good.
I've got
So-
a list.
Let's hear him, Kat.
All right, I put down the Babadook.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, I love
Yeah.
the Babadook.
Great movie.
What about
Yeah.
It Follows? Do you like It Follows?
I love it, Foley.
I'll keep going. Black Swan.
Ooh,
Which one?
interesting.
Because that's a horror film for sure.
Yep.
I've
Yep.
heard.
Good
10 Cloverfield Lane.
I love that movie. That is so great. Kat, why are we friends?
Okay, the Crazies remake.
Oh yeah.
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 The remake was good, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, Freaks mentioned already. I don't hear that mentioned that often. Modern.
Wait, Freaks 2000 or 1992 or you talking about Freaks 1922?
Yeah, the original, dude.
1932, of course.
1932. Yeah, absolutely.
Another one, I would put more recently, The Green Knight. That feels
Yeah.
very more horror-like, even though it's like fantasy adventure, but it feels like a horror movie.
Oh,
The original Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 1956. Life, which is that newer movie about the astronauts who bring the
Oh,
alien
yeah.
organism aboard the
I didn't
ship.
see
It's
that.
like a more realistic version of what would probably happen if you brought some type of alien organism aboard a ship.
Or
Uh,
is
No, I
that-
like 3/4 of that. There was it kind of got jiggly towards the end. I think that's
Yeah.
the one.
Then Let the Right One In.
Yeah.
Vampire
Yeah.
film.
Which one? The
Well, the
Norwegian
original,
one?
the
Well,
Swedish
the right
one.
one in or
Swedish
left
one.
in?
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, Let the Right One In.
Matt Reeves is pretty good too, though.
I did like the Pet Cemetery remake from 2019. That had a lot of very atmospheric movie kind
You
of.
like it? I haven't seen it.
I liked it a lot. Yeah.
I liked it. Sinister.
Chicago. Okay.
Yeah, Sinister by Scott there. I thought that was a good movie about the the journalist or whatever who moves into the house where the horrible thing happened, and yeah.
I like that movie too.
I consider Seven more of a horror film than a psychological thriller in a way, because it feels more horror-esque, sort of.
Totally.
oh
I
no.
go with that.
7 is in the same category as Silence of the Lambs,
Mhm.
if not more so.
The Skin I Live In, which is a Pedro Almodovar film, very unsettling, disturbing movie.
I've heard that name recently and I've not seen it.
Yeah, you got to see it. It's like, Jesus, blows your mind. You think you're watching one thing for the first half, and then the second half happens. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah, I think I.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then Us. I mean, a lot of people hated Jordan Peele's Us. I really liked it as a horror film. I thought it was really effective.
I'd like to see it. I haven't seen Us.
So that's my list for horror, for underrated horror.
Underrated. Yeah.
All right.
Ben, do
yeah.
you have a list?
I do, but Kat, you and I talk. Real quick question before I do mine, because I respectfully, I did not like Us. I did like maybe the first little attack, home invasion scene. I did like that. I just didn't like where it went. It kind of depleted everything for me. But you and I did a weekly Gulp on Nope, which I like significantly more. Are you a bigger fan of Nope than Us? Because Nope isn't. Because I don't know.
I think. Well, I think
ahead.
I like Us more as a horror film.
Ooh, okay.
Oh.
Okay. Fair
It's a
enough.
much
Fair
scarier
enough.
movie. The opening scene, especially at the boardwalk at Santa Cruz, that was really creepy in the House of Mirrors.
I think you're right. As a horror movie, it works more. And going back to what you said earlier, Jaws, and I wasn't on yet when you guys were talking about Jaws. It's a monster movie, not a horror
Yeah.
movie. It's a monster movie. I think Nope falls more into the Jaws category than horror, right?
Mm.
Yeah, because when we talked about that in your video, all the comparisons were there.
Yeah.
Alien.
I just feel that,
Alien is a monster movie, and it is scarier than Jaws. Jaws is an adventure movie.
yeah, but
Alien never
Us,
scared me as
I
much
really
as
like that
Jaws
one.
did.
So Yeah, so that's my list. What else? Who's the next underrated horror?
Yeah,
Okay. So I have Life Force. People think Life Force is hokey and stupid. I think it's brilliant. I love it. It's very original. Yeah,
I think it's hokey and stupid, but I like that it's on your list.
Yeah, I love it. And I have a couple of the ones that Steve has: Session 9, The Descent, and then I do have It Follows on there. That was actually my favorite film of 2015. Despite what I actually went on Rob's show last night and asked him what he thought about it, and he's not wrong. After the first 45 minutes, it doesn't really know where it wants to go, and I'm not arguing with him. I still liked the ride it gave me.
Yeah.
And Trick or Treat, it's one of my favorites. It's not scary. It just oozes Halloween. The colors, the music, everything about it is Halloween. Pumpkinhead is a movie that I
fucking love Pumpkinhead.
I wish it would have became a franchise. They tried, but they failed horribly.
Well, we're not done yet, baby.
One of the ones we just did on the Mixer, Madhouse, which I had never even heard of before, but it's a kind of effective slasher movie that deserves to be seen. It's very fucked up and creepy.
Madhouse is a very good movie, right? That was what, isn't it Toby Hooper or
No, it's his last name's Asinitis. He did Piranha.
Okay, my bad, but Piranha. Yeah.
But and if we're talking Hammer movies, every year.
Well, if I may interrupt just for one moment, because I want to get this out of the way because it's on my mind. You mentioned the reviews that you've done on your channel, and I wanted to put a movie on my list. And the only reason I saw this movie is because I was fortunate enough to be a guest on Cinema Gold. And we did a werewolf.
Wolfen? Are you talking about Wolfen?
I'm talking about fucking Wolfen. That was one of my... I loved Wolfen.
Yeah, you got way into that one. No, it's good. It's good. It's good.
So anyway, I'm the special little guy who likes Albert Finney.
Yeah, eating like sauerkraut.
Scotty, have you seen Silver Bullet?
Yeah, bits of it. No, I've seen the whole thing.
Silver Bullet's great. Silver Bullet's great.
Whatever.
Dude, Gary Busey, man, come on. I only got two more. Frankenstein and the Monsters from Hell is my favorite Hammer movie. And then Don't Look Now. If you haven't seen it, it's so fucked up. It'll stick with you in your dreams. It's wild. It's colorful. It's eerie. It's grotesque. Yeah. So
What year?
Don't Look Now, I think, is 75 or 76.
But and don't you think that we are dismissing a little bit of the Japanese horror? Like there is a little bit of
I haven't seen enough of it.
Well, no, but one of the most terrifying things that I've ever seen was Battle Royale. I not only thought
that's not a horror movie. That is a Hunger Games type survival game.
I think it's a psychological thriller that borders on.
It's in the same book, and I've got the book.
It did not live up to my expectations. Everyone was like, "You got to see Battle Royale," and I was like, "Really?
No, you got to watch it with a good team of friends, and one of you gets to live through."
Yeah, but you like Pacific Ladies.
No, I'm telling you, I've got the freaking book of Asian. It's Asian psychological horror. I've got the book that talks about Ju-on, Ringu on Battle Royale, and Takashi Miike and everything. Who's my favorite, or one of my favorite directors?
Richard, can I send you a DM of the cover of Session 9, and next year you could have it painted, because that would be so badass.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't pay you, but
That's right. Blow job. Friends and this and that and everything. We help each other out.
There you go.
Richard, why are you committed to burning your artwork tonight?
Hey, there's a good question for the.
He's a tortured artist. That's what they do, man. That's what
they burn things.
I'm literally moving from this place. As well, I mean, we've talked about this for about a year now, or over.
Finally.
But take a look. These are all my freaking paintings down here. I've got 500 paintings right here, and then 400 or something over there. McGing design.
That does not look like 500.
Yeah, I can't even carry these on my own. I mean, I can't carry anything.
Well, you shouldn't throw anyone with your bad knee.
No, it's more than a bad knee.
I know. I'm sorry. I was doing a Ferris.
No. But no, I mean, it's not that I'm. Well, actually, it's more of a threat because, yeah, I will be destroying some of my stuff, and I've got
Well, then didn't destroy it. Murder it.
Well, I have.
Get rid of it. I don't care.
Because I'm filming them.
Go find a spot. Burn it.
I've already been doing that, dude.
Oh, really? You have a spot?
Yeah, I do. As a matter of fact, I created a freaking thing outside. That's where I did all my Hellraiser.
And you have not been live streaming this. What kind of a man?
Actually, yes, I have. Okay, remember last year on Tonight, 1 year ago?
I do.
I did the Hellraiser thing. Well, a couple of weeks ago when Hellraiser came out on Netflix or whatever, or Peacock or whatever the fuck, or Hulu, whatever. I went out there with all of my Hellraiser stuff. I didn't burn them. I kind of burned, I singed them. Let me say that. But I'm doing a lot of live videos with flames, special effect lighting, things that you can't see at this second. I filmed, a lot of it. And I've got several hours of footage. Yes.
Well, and whatever you do, I understand you to be an artistic individual who presents his emotions the way that he feels them. So whatever you do, understand that I'm a fan and I don't want you to do anything that makes it so you stop making art.
I will never stop making art unless I slit my own throat, which I was thinking about because I have the machete, though not tonight. I mean, yeah, it's Halloween, but
if I send you my mailing address, will you send me that machete?
I'm not going to do it. Good God, man. No. It's a horror. We're talking about scary movies.
No, I know, but that was a... So what was your favorite? Never mind. I can't even ask.
No, what is my favorite? Well, Near Dark is my favorite movie of all time. And Shadow of the Vampire is my second favorite. Catherine Bigelow.
Nice picks, man. Nice picks.
Catherine Bigelow is my favorite director, along with back and forth with Takashi Miike, who we're talking about for some of the really weird Asian shit and everything. Mizu and some other Asian directors. Yeah.
Bigelow is my favorite working director right now as well, sir. Good pick, man. She's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things, we were discussing underrated, but like the horror of Pan's Labyrinth is mesmerizing.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
I agree.
So, you know,
you're right. Now, Doug Jones is, I'm connected with him. We talk, and he's kind of busy, though I've offered him a couple opportunities. We've talked. I met him a couple times, and I did the Shape of Water. Where the hell is that painting? Oh my God, I'm missing a whole other stack of paintings.
Doug Jones is a fucking legend, man.
Yeah.
He's like Andy Serkis. He's Andy Serkis, but live action. You know.
Yeah, he's such a sweetheart, and I met him through a guy that I ultimately consider a bad guy. Though, at least I met Doug, and then we stayed in touch. And then a friend of mine from Hollywood actually had him in a Universal Dead a series of films, whatever. Anyway, I've done paintings of Doug Jones. He's a sweetheart, man.
I've also enjoyed private times with myself while thinking about Doug Jones.
Oh boy, it always comes back to that.
So it's all back around.
What? You never mind.
No, never.
That image alone is horror.
Many people will be
Ernesto gets it.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Ernesto. I didn't see you. I'm sorry. My apologies. But yeah.
Ernesto, welcome to the conversation.
Hi.
So, Human Centipede, the greatest horror movie or just a great horror movie?
Other than a couple images, I've not actually seen the Human Centipede.
Good.
Fair enough. Me either. What is?
Good answer. Good answer. Ding, ding, ding. Good answer.
Like I think once you actually see the image, that's all you need to know.
Yeah, pretty much. Once you see the diagram.
Yeah, shotgun. I'll be in front.
But Ernesto, you are from what I understand, you are a horror movie aficionado.
Not really, but lately I've been appreciating how the horror genre right now is the best way for anybody who's starting in the industry to cut their teeth in.
Interesting.
Because it's all about being creative with what little you have, and if you're able to do that, then you're gonna go places.
That's oh my god. I mean, you just gave an entire generation inspiration. I mean, that's perfection. That's perfect. Thank you.
Well, is that because of the nature of exploitation, though?
It depends.
Like sex sells. That's a euphemism. That's a thing that everyone knows.
Yeah, sex sells, and I guess in a way, horror sells, because you can make a really bad horror movie by today's standards, and you'll still have the #1 opening weekend, mostly.
The great thing about horror is, even if it's bad, there could be like really cool moments, or there could be really cool creatures, or variables thereof. Like I design games, tabletop card games, and House of the Dead is a horrible movie, though it has 18 different styles of zombies that I'd never seen before, and that's why I like it.
Yeah.
It can be cheap as fuck, and then
Ben gets it.
Yep.
did Ben get it?
Well, no, Ben has the album, the vinyl for It Follows. So if anyone actually wants to see credentials, I believe he just showed his driver's license. Hey, by the way, this is his insurance.
An American Werewolf in London, good one. The follow-up was crap.
Well, and
American
like I
Werewolf
said,
in Paris. It had Julie Delpy in it, so it should have been good. But
I
It
like
should've been
Thomas
good,
Everett
yeah.
Scott.
That's what you get for going with the French.
The French.
that was Tom Everett
Wait,
Scott.
You know,
when they
the
were-
greatest
when they were
horror
trying to
movie
make
ever
him a
made
thing.
is about to come out in cinemas.
The Richard, if I'm there's the best the best horror movie of the last 10 years is Ezra Miller. So but Ernesto, we have 3 categories. It is horror icons, we have horror directors, and we have horror movies. You can scatter these about, but please categorize them for our listeners.
Okay.
Would you like to go with icons first?
Like make a list of icons?
Yeah, like I don't know, between 1 and as many.
Off the top of my head, the ones that I think will kind of last forever, and they're like the Mount Rushmore of horror icons. You have Michael Myers, you have Jason, you have Freddy Krueger, and to an extent, George Romero, because he's kind of like
Hell yeah,
the king daddy of the zombie genre.
absolutely.
Okay. That's funny that out of all of those, 3 of them are like fictional characters, and then you get 1 real guy.
No, Jason Voorhees is a director, Scotty. You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know of any of Jason Voorhees' films.
The last
Well, we're
one.
about ready to.
I mean, if you
looks like
if you
we're about
really
ready to-
want to look at George Romero, like he might be the only one that kicked off not just like a franchise, but a genre completely.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
I mean, you can re-energize it decades and decades later, but it stemmed from him completely. So
Like there are rules based on, like when you watch movies like 28 Days Later or even the remake of Dawn of the Dead, it's like, are those zombies? No. Well, and even with Shaun of the Dead, All right. Well, they adhered to Romero zombie rules. It's glorious.
Can I
Okay,
be,
as a game designer,
can I be controversial?
Yeah.
I watched Shaun of the Dead again recently, and I feel it's not holding up as
How
well
so?
anymore. Maybe I've seen it so many times where I'm
is this
just kinda like,
Semigo? Is this been? Huh?
yeah.
All you
I
gotta do
love
is
it.
look at
Don't
the
get me
camera,
wrong.
pal.
I was
No. Yeah.
in 2004. It was like one of my favorite movies of the year. I love it, but I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just getting sick of it. I've seen it so many times. Like,
You know, something about it when I first saw it. My friends raved about it like crazy. I watched it. I thought it was funny, but I thought it was a bit restrictive because it's just like, let's go to the bar. And I get that's the running joke. And then they get there and they try and turn it into, like The Birds or any other hunker down invasion type things. And so, I mean, I thought it was funny, but I always thought his follow-up Hot Fuzz, as far as parodies and that type of stuff, was a lot better.
Hot Fuzz is a lot better. Yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah. Hot Fuzz is better.
His last movie, One Night in Soho, is a horror movie, and I found it to be very effective.
I haven't
Even
seen it.
if
Is it horror?
I haven't seen it
It's a
yet.
horror movie.
Yeah, it's a horror. Yeah,
absolutely a
Last
horror
Night in
movie.
Soho. It's a horror movie.
Why
And it's
didn't you
great.
tell me? I needed to prep for this show.
Hey, regarding Simon Pegg and when they did that movie, that's another one. I was right there in England at the moment when they were filming it, or when it came out. And I remember I was up and we had to travel like 4, 5, 6 freaking hours to go hang out with our friends. They had this gigantic window, and as I'm leaving, and my girlfriend at the time, we plastered ourselves behind them because the window is behind them. They're watching Shaun of the Dead, and we just almost break the window. I mean, not really, but scared them out of them, and happy memories. Anyway,
Directed at you, Scotty.
Well, yeah, no, fuck me. So
I was
anyway,
going to give you the
no, but and that's why, like, okay, so we've gone over our lists of horror movies and genres and icons.
Well, we still have one. We still have one more. We have favorite horror movies to do.
No, I understand. But for me, I'm not going to include Shaun of the Dead.
No,
Because I don't think Shaun of the Dead is a horror movie. I think it's a romantic comedy.
Yeah. You're not wrong. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why it's left off.
Him and dude, I mean, that would be kind of romance. Otherwise, I mean, she's upset and he's pissy, and then let it out. I mean, there's no excitement there. The romance is literally him losing his friend.
Yes, Richard, exactly. Yeah, that's the relationship is those two guys for sure. And I think
their
friends,
Fat Dance album or whatever it was.
When I contrast the Shaun of the Dead with Return of the Living Dead, which essentially are the same basic premise, the reason Return of the Living Dead works so much better is because you feel that sense of the end of the world coming throughout the comedy and the hijinks. For some reason, Shaun of the Dead feels small. It feels, I don't know, it feels Saturday Night Live sketch or spaced. It's like it's spaced, but now there's and I still really love it. There's something about it where it's like Return of the Living. Yeah, Tarman. Richard,
It took place in Louisville, Kentucky, which is 2 hours or 4 hours from where I am.
You are a god, Richard. You painted Tarman. That's awesome. That is awesome. But I think
because it was mentioned earlier, I'm just going to go ahead and show. Yeah, I do have some Killer Clowns from Outer Space artwork. Well,
thank heavens. Once you're done with that, can you show your work of Earth Girls Are Easy?
I've never been able to sit through that movie in its entirety.
No, I haven't either because I masturbate.
I can't sit through it. I just can't.
Gina Davis used to come into my Barnes and Noble when I was there in on Encinitas or whatever.
Is she really 6'5"? Like she seems to be on film. Is she 6'5"?
I
Very
actually
attracted
don't
to
freaking
Gina
know
Davis.
because I was in awe. And I didn't actually deal with her. I was working in the DVD and the I get all jumbled now. No, she was finding a book. Yeah, I would imagine. No, I don't know how tall she was.
I know she's not 6'5", but I remember there's been like several things like in Thelma and Louise, she was taller than Brad Pitt, so they had to do forced perspective on the camera and all kinds of shit.
I'm not entirely certain.
No,
It's
definitely.
bizarro. I never even thought about it because, I mean, she's one of my biggest crushes ever. I mean, it's Gina Davis, man.
Well, yeah, no, and she is also in one of the most, like, we haven't even talked about The Fly.
Right.
That's insane.
Yeah. That's one of
And
my
she
favorites.
is part of the reason why that movie sells its terror.
Yeah, for certain.
Yeah.
And she was there something? Did she do something with her teeth or something for that? Because when she's like, I don't know, and it was almost like not buck teeth, but there was just something that she did that was kind of. It was.
I don't know.
Mm.
Uh-oh, technical difficulties. Welcome, subscribe, like, ring the bell.
Let's get into our favorite horror movies. Now this was hard for me because there's so many good ones. So I put a list together just kind of just off the top of my head. It's not comprehensive and it's not in order, in any particular order. But here we go. I have 10. The Exorcist, Alien, The Shining, The Thing, Hellraiser, Rosemary's Baby, The Witch, Devil's Advocate, A Nightmare on Elm Street, and Dawn of the Dead.
Ooh.
Okay,
Yeah,
wait.
cool.
Hang on. Reel it in. Because I had Devil's Advocate on my list just because it had Al Pacino as Satan.
I love this movie. I don't know
It's
if it's
a great...
I
I
don't
don't think it's a
movie.
horror movie. I don't think it's a horror movie.
I don't know, but I
think
considered
it can easily fall under horror because there's a supernatural aspect to
There
it.
is.
There's
Yeah.
scary creatures. It falls under horror.
There's gore. There's nudity.
It follows under horror. I like how you said that, Ben.
Yeah.
Follows
See
Under
what I
horror.
did there? That was
I'll
unintentional,
allow
but
it.
it was also on purpose.
but it worked.
I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
The
I,
erotic
I'm a
Advocate.
fan of the movie. I love the movie. It's one of those movies you just rewatch and a million times.
Dude, I allowed it.
Thank
You know what? Nobody mentions that. I mean, not on a regular basis because we talk about, Keanu and Bill and Ted, or we talk about him Speed. We talk about, in Constantine and everything, which we're about to see another version of. And we see this and that. That is such an underrated because he is guilty. Oh, that was a Freudian slip, but he's a that's a messed up movie.
But
In
the course of the show, there's been some movies that just I didn't come to mind. But especially Pumpkinhead's one of my favorite all-time horror movies. I don't even know why I didn't make my list. Which is some of the, and then Session 9 obviously made my underrated list. But just in the course of the show, we've had some movies come up that there's so many of them. Like I said, I could make a list of 100 horror movies that I like. So it's hard to do these lists.
Well, and it's hard for me to do these lists as well, simply because my perception of horror movies is like, I don't know, is it supernatural? Is it body horror? Is it like torture? Is it capture? Is it existential? I don't even again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I've done it like 70 times. And it's like Requiem for a Dream terrifies me. It is a movie that I've seen twice, and both times I was like, no. And there are movies that give me the heebie-jeebies. There are movies that but ghost stories, like Event Horizon for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's insane because it's mixed with like the gothic, I don't know. Who's the Cthulhu guy?
H.P. Lovecraft?
That's the guy. And the H.R. Giger and like Alien and all of this. And it's just It's a matter like whenever my horror is being trapped. Maybe I'm claustrophobic. Wait, doctor, he's certainly claustrophobic. So yeah, that's where my mind goes. It's not about how I get there. It's just shove me in a box.
But there's also these little horror movies and I call them the little 90-minute horror movies, like on Hulu. They're like Hulu productions or wherever they're at, that are really good too, that like nobody's ever seen, like Tentacles. Tentacles are a cool little horror movie, 90-minute horror movie, that I saw last year.
I find Tentacles sexy.
This was a good movie.
Stop watching hentai, Scott.
Are you seriously going to start talking about tentacles?
You're not my real mom.
Without me in here? Good freaking God, man. Okay, first of all, I've got everything Cthulhu. Where are we? I've got everything.
It seems that we should be married.
Wait.
I don't think you're ready for that relationship.
And well, certainly not with the tentacles of
Lovecraft.
Richard's size.
Black Phillip says, if a movie has even slight horror elements, then it's horror. So, yep, Devil's Advocate counts. Great movie, by the way. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's the Crow.
Oh, you know what? What was it? Oliver Harper just released a retrospective and review of
Oliver.
End of Days.
I haven't watched it yet, but it's in my queue. Yeah.
Oh man! And you know what? I fucking love End of Days.
Oliver Harper is like a pioneer legend of YouTube.
I'm kind of pissy with Oliver because in 2012 I invested in the first.
That was 10 years ago.
Yeah, in the first one of them.
Thank you, Scott.
And I didn't find out. And he told me
knows how to count.
No, listen to me. He told me, "Hey, Richard, I can't find you any of your records." Though a buddy of mine got the DVD, and he's like, "Yeah, your name was right there, D. Richard." So I haven't talked to him, and this is like 10 years ago. I mean, it's so petty, though. I gave him, I think, about $1,000. I think.
I love it when people text me and say I lost your number.
Can I do my list or is somebody next?
Yeah.
Starting at the bottom, kind of like Kat, in no particular order. The top like 4 or 5 are really significant, but Dario Argento's Inferno.
What about Suspiria?
I love Suspiria, but I honestly like the remake better. I love the fucking remake.
Are you kidding me?
I love the remake. It's so good. So good.
I haven't seen it because I was afraid. I was thinking it's going to suck.
It's amazing. Mario Bava's 1960 Black Sunday. Black Sunday is probably the scariest movie that came out in that era of black and white movies. It's actually scary. It's actually disturbing.
Yeah.
Brilliant movie. It's just gorgeous. The camera work, everything about it is so gorgeous. Alien, obviously. I love Alien. To me, the very first slasher movie ever made was The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Debatable whether it's slasher. I think it is.
Yeah, that's debatable, but yeah.
It's so goddamn creative. I mean, holy fuck. And it's effective. And the ending of the movie, it's also kind of the first like, hey, I was actually crazy, at the end. Session 9, one of my favorite horror movies of all time. Yeah. The Lost Boys is my favorite vampire movie of all time. American Werewolf in London. Probably top 3 for me. Rosemary's Baby, The Shining, and The Thing. And I know The Thing is kind of a common thing. But
no, that's good. It's a good answer.
The Thing is a perfect movie. To me.
Yeah. And say, here's my.
I like Alien better than The Thing.
The Thing is so good.
That I did for The Thing, because I was taking imagery from the movie and also the book. I don't know if you guys can see it.
I can't read.
You can't read?
I can't see.
Yeah, I don't know. What? Alexa, all lights white.
If you could bring that closer to the screen.
That's what she said. Put it in my
Well, head. I can't. You know what? I'm really looking forward to you.
Oh, there we go.
This.
Yeah. And we haven't even got to any of my selections.
I forgot to mention Reanimator as horror comedy.
Dude, I've never seen it.
What are you talking about?
I'm a crazy, stupid pedestrian
Dude,
reader.
if anybody I've ever met in my life reminds me of Jeffrey Combs, it's you, Scotty. You have to watch that movie.
Oh my God!
I know.
That is so true. He could be. Holy macaroni! Now, you're absolutely.
There
right.
is too much. There is too much Star Trek weight.
No, trust me, he's right. Because the Frighteners. The Frighteners is a freaking damn good movie, and you could be.
I do like the Whiteners, the Frighteners.
I thought Midnight's Edge.
Yeah.
Midnight's Edge just did a whole retrospect on the Frighteners last night. It was pretty great.
I think that's what I was watching. As a matter of fact, I think that's what I was. Yeah, I was with you.
Well,
did The Omen make anybody's list?
I love The Omen, but it didn't make my list. No,
I like.
I love it. I have it on vinyl. It's a great soundtrack.
I don't.
The Amityville Horror too.
I put The Omen and Rosemary's Baby in sort of the same category. I've seen neither.
A lot of people do that. Yeah.
I mean, Rosemary's Baby is so, especially when you watch it with your pregnant wife. It's
God. Oh.
Did anybody try catching the TV show based on The Omen?
No, I heard about it, but no.
I remember watching. When they did it was 2006 on
666.
So 666. Yeah, I was there.
That was the only Omen movie I saw, and I figured, if it's like this, why bother watching the classics?
Yeah, kind of in theory, yeah.
It just kind of says it all right there.
Well, wasn't part 2 called Damien, where it's like
Damien the Omen too? Yes.
Yeah, I never saw that one, but it's like he's like grown up. It's like, well, I'm not interested in that. The first movie told the story it needed to tell, but obviously sequelitis, so.
Another movie.
The great thing about us is we get to watch all these horror documentaries. We get to see like the clips, like Damien, this is all for you.
Yeah, this is all for you. Oh, that scene is so great.
Like that.
I like The Autopsy of Jane Doe too. It's a good horror movie.
Yeah. Oh, I love that movie, dude. Isn't that Ben Foster in it?
You know what? I am so angry at Ben Foster. F that guy. I don't care.
No, not Ben Foster. It's Brian Cox and.
It's not Ben Foster.
He's Brian Cox is
Ben Foster.
Emil Hirsch.
Yeah.
That movie's awesome.
Is Archangel in X-Men 3.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, I mean that's how I know him.
Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, Autopsy of Jane Doe is great though, Steve. That's
no. That's a great movie. Though his character, I really thought it was
really angry, and it does look like I'm selling.
X-Men 3. Yeah.
Can I do my list?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want, man. Welcome.
Do it. Let's hear it.
So I just came up with this on the fly, and I figure, I think what would be interesting is to put on a list of movies that scared me as a kid when I was not allowed to watch R-rated movies. Because my dad always says, don't watch them because you're not going to go to sleep. And at the time, he was right. So what I ended up watching, and one of these doesn't count as horror, but I'm going to throw it in there because I liked it a lot. The Ghost in the Darkness.
Oh, wow. That is a scary movie. Keep going.
Simba and Mufasa were not kind that day when I watched that movie. I saw Alien. I saw The Fly right after I saw Jurassic Park, so that's where I had the connection.
Oh, wow.
I watched Tremors and loved it, even as a kid. I loved it. But I couldn't sleep because I don't want to walk past my bed because they will hear me. So I would throw pillows on the ground to hide my sound just to go to the bathroom. Jaws, obviously. Even sitting in the
don't go in the water.
Yes.
Come on, man.
I'm like, well, this is where I die. The Thing.
Yep.
Arachnophobia.
I raised spiders, by the way, and they had 23 different mistakes during that movie, and I caught them when I was 15 years old because that's how much I love.
Yeah, but At the age I was, when you see that scene where the camera closes in on the eyes of the spider, that's where I'm just like, no, shut it down.
Oh,
I
baby,
I
she's
hate
coming for
spiders,
you.
so I only saw that movie once.
Well, and also, Richard, I would like to say arachnophobia is not a documentary.
Ah, well, all right.
And the last two movies are Wolf with Jack Nicholson.
Yo, James Spader.
And
Yes.
lastly, and this one,
And Michelle Pfeiffer, by the way.
and this one really did a number on me because it was very effective, was Chucky.
Really? Which one?
The
You
first
mean Child's Play?
Child's Play.
Yeah.
It's not called Chucky. It's called Child's Play. That's why I had to
Yeah,
ask
now
which
it's called
one.
Chucky, but yeah.
one. Yeah, I just know it as Chucky, and I already know which movie I mean when I go to
Scotty, what are you drinking there, buddy?
Sweet tea.
You liar.
Lies. These are lies, everybody.
Scotch. That's scotch, my friend. That looks like scotch to me.
I've got some things to add a tad bit later, though. You guys keep going.
Will you please turn off the blow torches?
Wait, do I need to?
No, not at all. I'm making fun of the fact that your lighting looks like blow torches.
I've got a list of-
Ironic, considering I was going to torch everything.
Yeah, don't do that.
What's your
I'm not
what's
going to
your
torch
test
anything
list?
tonight, but all right, yeah. Oh,
right,
but I'm filming us from a camera with a mirror, so I'm getting you from that screen and anything that I do over here. I don't.
That's the kind of production value that we have around here. Everything is in camera and practical.
All right, I've got for my list. I've got the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari,
Yes.
Freaks,
Mm.
Whatever Happened to Baby Jane,
Oh,
The Last House on the Left, the original, The Hills Have Eyes, the original, A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original,
Yep.
Halloween, the original, The Thing, the original. I have to specify all this shit nowadays. And those are probably my top. And then original Texas Chainsaw, 'cause that's also just
God,
like
I fall
what is
asleep
it?
to that every
When
time.
When you say the Thing, the original, you're not talking about.
I mean not the original. I mean the John Carpenter one.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, because I don't even count the one in the 1951
No,
one. 'Cause
I
that's a
don't either.
departure.
I don't
That's
either.
the
but
alien from
technically-
outer space, or what is it? Or the thing?
The
from,
thing,
The Thing from Outer Space. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a departure from the original story that
I mean,
Just wanted to
that's
clarify.
the book.
yeah, I always forget that. But yeah, those are probably my top like 9 or however many that was.
I love it that,
I have
I knew Kat would have Cabinet of Dr. Caligari because
yeah.
I just knew it.
Phantasm's a good one too. The original
Oh
Phantasm.
my god!
I like Phantasm 2 better.
Yeah.
Scott, you
Well, I like them back to back. That's what he said. I don't know.
It's all about James LaGrosse. James LaGrosse. Unsung hero of the late 80s, early
He was
90s.
in that movie that Scott and I watched. That was a bad movie a few weeks ago.
Which one?
For the Tarantino series, what was it that we kept joking about? That
Oh, what? Destiny Turns on the Radio?
yes,
Oh my god, dude! I love that movie. I mean, it's not great, but I love it.
yeah. So yeah,
Um,
of course I have the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Yeah.
Did you, Kat? Did you see what I posted on
You know.
the Cinema Globe chat? I posted that they found a German original print of Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. So they're actually going to do like a new 4K pressing sometime in 2023, probably around this time, I'm guessing. But
Nice.
that's going to be badass. I know you're going to buy that shit.
9.
Also, you know what other horror movie I like is Repo, the Genetic Opera.
Oh, fuck that.
I like
Never
Come
that.
heard
on,
of it.
man!
I've never heard of it.
That was at the premiere, and I got to meet all the freaking everybody, Ogre from Skinny Puppy and everybody, and I was shy. This is back when I first got here in Hollywood, but I was shy. But no, he was super cool. And was it James Wan? Who's the director? Was it James Wan? Was it?
No, Darren. I think Darren Lynn.
Darren Lynn Bousman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there you go.
Darren Lynn Belsman. Yeah. And then the only person who was not there was Paris Hilton, and I mean that's kind of a good thing. It's kind of a good thing.
Not at the time she was in the movie.
No. I mean, yeah, I would totally hook up with. Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't think so. I don't. You know what? I don't think. I don't think it would be a good date. I don't even care if she puts that.
What did you guys think of Salem's
I mean,
Lot?
I love her scene. What is it? The drug. Get the. What is it? You know, that song. That song.
I can't remember the Salem's Lot original. I know they just remade it and it's in delay because of post-production issue, or the delay in VFX work, which is a bit discouraging because that doesn't seem like a movie where you need visual effects. You should be all prosthetics on that. So
You would think.
It should.
I think I've only seen the Salem's Lot like once, maybe twice.
I like the book. I just read it.
1979 version. The original version.
The drug.
Pitt and Jill in the chat says, I didn't even know we had a chat. Thank you. Jill in the chat says Pitch Black, which I think is an action horror monster movie.
They had absolutely. That first one was genius because it's darkness. It's genius. I mean, you look at filmmakers. What's your greatest weakness? Lighting. I mean, in my perspective, lighting. So, yeah, Pitch Black is awesome. And I kind of like the second one, though. It's more like Star Wars. It's not necessarily the same.
I think my favorite horror movie recently. I mean, there's a couple of really good ones. I think my favorite though is Hereditary.
Well,
my
Hereditary is fucking
last 10
scary
years.
as fuck. Yeah, Hereditary fucked me up. I couldn't sleep after Hereditary. You know what would be an interesting thing is how about underrated movies from some of these directors we've been talking about? Like for me, like Prince of Darkness is very underrated. For Carpenter, there's a bunch of people that have like really good movies that people don't talk about as much.
I don't know. Prince of Darkness is kind of one of his staples. I would say Ghost.
Well, no, but it's not talked about though when they talk about Carpenter. It's just not because it's in the mid to late 80s. So, and he was making that movie simultaneously with Big Trouble in Little China, and it shows.
I didn't know that. Oh, God. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, okay, and so this is the benefit of doing these sort of like Devil's Night shows, is that I still have an opportunity to explore something new and terrifying tomorrow, because tomorrow is Halloween.
It is.
Tomorrow. It sounds like a Japanese demon.
Yeah,
that's great, and that's a great movie.
That's my
third
favorite movie of the year so far.
We'll talk about it on the Oscar show.
I think it's Goff is the breakout star of the year.
Dude, Mia Goth is so fucking what a year for her, man. Wow.
Yeah.
I got this movie on two recommendations. The first one being Ben's. I got the Ben's. And also the trailer to Maxine.
Yeah, at the end of Pearl. Yeah.
I
didn't see Pearl.
It's not really a trailer. It's just a tease thing. But yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
It's a trilogy, yo.
It would have been great if Maxine had come out this year.
I know. If he did 3 movies in 1 year,
that would have been a fantastic. Just
hey
as
guys,
far as horror trilogies are concerned, in 1 year and they're all banging. Come on.
Imagine that, Ernesto. Like one of the greatest.
Ernesto,
like, sorry.
What do you think of? Because I didn't get through. Anyway, I didn't finish X, though I knew that that's absolutely something that I need to watch. And then I heard about Pearl, and I've heard all of the glorious things, and I've seen her interviews. And now you're talking about what is it?
Maxine. It's the third movie. Yeah,
the third
one. What do you guys think about those? Do you think they are good? Is that a good trilogy? Or
oh my god! Well, I mean, they gotta stick to landing. Obviously, they gotta knock it out of the park with Maxine. But holy shit, if they do, and if he can, the only difference between Maxine and Pearl is like Pearl, the trailer debuted at the end of X, and the movie was already shot and in post production. Maxine hasn't been shot yet. So you're going to have to wait a little bit longer to make it. But I guess they're making these movies in like 3 or 4 weeks because they're very small budgeted movies.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So dude, if Maxine sticks to landing and is badass, this is going to be one of the greatest fucking horror trilogies ever. That took
That's
place
hot,
within
dude.
like 16 months of each other. You know.
That's freaking hot. It makes so much sense too.
I saw X in the theater. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see Pearl in the theater, so I'm gonna have to watch that.
Ty West is blowing my mind because I
Yeah.
have not been a fan of Ty West stuff.
Right.
Really, this stuff, like he just kind of created. He had this idea and made it happen, and I'm so envious, but I'm so happy that it exists. It's like,
Yeah.
fuck, man, like this is how you do it.
Wait, he did what? He did what? Sinister? No. What did Ty?
You talking about Ty West?
Yeah.
Fuck, I can't even remember the names of some of his other stuff.
No,
I've seen a couple of them, but
Well, while you guys figure out what Ty West has done before the entire career of Mia Goth, I would like to welcome Tiger Stripes. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, hey,
Hello.
thanks for having me. What a blast.
hey,
Free for
nice
all.
to meet
Free
you.
for
Nice
all.
to meet you.
It
Very
is
nice
a
to
free
meet you
for
too.
all.
I love your avatar. I love your avatar.
I love your avatar as well, and I'll show you some
Thank
of my
you.
paintings of your avatar. You welcome.
Thanks very much.
Uh,
Hey, Kat.
Hey,
Yeah.
So I guess what do we go with first? How do we inaugurate Tiger Stripes? Like,
Oh.
do we go with
Put her on
horror
the freaking fire
directors?
bench and let her.
Do we go
burn
horror
and figure out
movies?
Do I have to get jumped in?
Icons?
Is this like a gang?
Well, I don't know. I feel like you have to fill out a resume.
Get her into the icons. Her icons.
Let's do icons, sure.
Yeah.
Who are your top
Who's your
5
favorite?
or top whatever until you run out? Horror, like icons, villains, demons.
No time limit. No time limit.
Yeah, you're fine.
Now
Take
you have
your
30 seconds. You have 30 seconds. Go.
30
time. On the
seconds.
clock.
Frankenstein, Dracula, Pinhead.
Yeah.
Boy, but Pinhead really gave me the willies. That movie, so terrifying. The first one. I don't think I've had the guts to see the others.
What?
Yeah, I know. A bit of a wuss.
Okay.
A Bride of
Good answer.
Frankenstein is iconic. Elsa
Mhm.
Lanchester.
Anything Frankenstein is badass. Yeah.
Yep.
Even the bad ones are still pretty good. Just the concept of it from the brain of a 19-year-old girl. Just amazing.
Mhm.
Are you
Mary
a fan of
Shelley.
any of the? Are you a fan of any of the Hammer Frankensteins?
They just don't look right to me. It's funny if it's not
No, they
Karloff,
don't. They
it
don't. They
doesn't
don't.
look right, no matter who it is. I did see, because they showed it for free during the pandemic because everybody was shut in, so they threw us a bone. It was the play, and it was, God help me, Cumberbatch and Johnny Lee Miller, and they would trade roles. But the one that I saw, Cumberbatch was the monster and Miller was the creator.
Wow. Where
And
the
of
fuck
course,
did you see that?
You're
That
not really
sounds
supposed to
awesome.
call him the monster. I have a friend who keeps reminding me you're supposed to refer to Frankenstein as the creature.
I thought it was the. Okay. No, I get it.
Is
Yeah.
that more PC?
Well,
That's
it's
what
not
he's
a
called.
monster.
That's what he's called in the book, I believe. He's never called a monster in the book. He's called a creature.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, he is a
Are
genetic.
we really talking about PC with monsters?
Well, I think when Mary Shelley wrote that book, the word monster had not entered the Oxford English Dictionary yet. So maybe that's what it was.
I've got and I got it for $1 at a Goodwill. And it's Frankenstein, and it includes all of or several of the 1800s the newspaper reviews of the original book.
Wow, that's neat.
Yeah. And I don't know if I got it here, but I've got a box that I'll show you guys in a little bit. But
It's not one you're going to burn, is it?
No, I'm not going to burn my. I'll burn my art because I can always recreate.
I was actually a little bit more frustrated by the fact that he's like, I have this box I'm going to show you, and I was like, you're going to show me your box?
No. Anyway,
Well, you said you had a box that you were going to show me. You're gonna
She's
show
back
me.
on the
Anyway.
fire festival.
It's okay. Scotty's into boxes.
I am. I do enjoy boxes.
Ditto.
Junk goes into boxes.
It's where you put your junk.
And modern horror, I haven't seen that much. I saw Insidious in the theater. God, that was
That
a
was
while
good,
ago
man.
now.
That was pretty spooky.
It was good, and it was basically a remake of Poltergeist. Didn't you get that from it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I got some of that
yeah.
from there. Yeah,
Kind
except
of. Yeah.
the thing I loved about Insidious is that it was about astral projection, and I always and I can totally be vulnerable here and say like I feel like I've astral projected before. Probably haven't, but it feels
Under
like
the
it,
influence, or
no, just
doesn't
from
matter.
dreaming
Oh.
and things like that, where you
That's
kind of
impressive.
leave your body and you go to other places. That's what I like about Insidious is it's not so much about ghosts as it is. I mean, it is, but it's the astral projection aspect of it, where you leave your body when you sleep and you can go to other realms and you can go to other places. That's what was so fascinating about Insidious. And then obviously the Red Man, I don't know what they call him. It was just so scary and like
Yeah, he was
not enough of
terrifying.
them though. Not enough of them.
Well,
But-
enough
right.
to give you the willies, though. That's always good when
Yeah.
they don't overdo it.
When he's behind Patrick Wilson, oh my God, that scene's so good. That's classic right there.
Yeah.
The funny
Patrick
thing is, the
Wilson
thing that really
turns his
sticks with
head
me
and-
about Insidious is I was in the theater, I was all on my own, and I don't know, I think I might have been unwell that day. I just felt a little vulnerable. And the opening credits for that film totally made every hair on my back stand up, just completely. There was like this very subtle movement. It was like a slow pan of a kitchen in the inside of a house, and things were moving ever so slightly, completely creepy, really evocative.
And you know how like a certain song that plays during a really scary movie that scares you can stick with you, and then all of a sudden that song becomes the anthem for that movie? Tiny Tim. The Tiny Tim song in Insidious. Oh, at the window. Like that. They keep replaying. Oh God, I can't hear that. That is so scary. Because Tiny Tim is just.
I write a lot of horror, fantasy, like short and non sequitur type short horror stories, erotica, and also though I did in 1998, 96, I created a game called Fear of Ghosts, and then when I went to film school over there in England, I wrote the screenplay for it. It was a short thing, and then when I got back in 2003, 4, whatever, we finished it, and I found it like last week. I found that full fucking script over there, and it's very similar. It's so similar to so many things that I'm not necessarily inclined to actually share it, because it is like Insidious. It is like Return of the Jedi. It's like R.I.P., which is not a great movie, though the concepts were brilliant. And it's like all of these other things. Texas Chainsaw. I mean, I've got to say, it's like Shocker. It's very much like Shocker, actually.
So is it terrifying to find something of your own in your own home and be like, this is a thing that will curse me? Like,
I have a story if you want to hear one. I have a
I
story about
do
that.
enjoy stories, Tiger.
Since it's a Halloween. Okay, so I've been to New Orleans twice in my life. The second time I went was with my beau at the time. It was quite a while ago now. The last boyfriend. Dun, dun, dun. And I made a rubbing.
That's a weird
the
sound for orgasm.
I made a rubbing of the headstone of Marie Laveau, the Voodoo Queen. And it was a really nice artifact, a really nice rubbing. And I rolled it up and brought it home, stashed it, kind of forgot it was there, like you said, in my house. And then shortly thereafter, my life went to shit really fast. I lost a promotion. I had worked like a dog. The boyfriend ghosted me. My car got hit really hard. I mean, to shit. And it took me months and months to kind of piece my life back together. It was really, really bad. And then a couple of years afterward, I was cleaning around the condo and I found it. And I said, oh my God, I have been cursed. And I burned it with apologies to her. In retrospect, I wish I'd kept it and sold it on eBay because things like that have a high value to certain people.
No, you end up being like a weird, like person in a stall, big, and then you'd
Actually-
evaporate into nothingness as
I
soon
don't
as
think
you
so.
sold the
I think
scroll.
when you sell something like that, you transfer the curse.
Stop. What I think
Yeah,
is,
but you do it on purpose. You can't do that.
you're
on purpose.
literally.
I don't know why not. I don't have any problem with it.
Hey, Tiger Stripes.
And
did you
that's
ever-
why we would.
Did you
be
ever
perfect.
read Anne Rice's Violin?
No, I understand it's about castrati. Is that
It's
the one?
very much like what you're saying, but almost kind of like flipped it. You know, like
I'll
what
look
is
for
this?
it. I really will. I've really only ever read the first one. I've only ever
No,
read Interview
I
with the
think
Vampire.
Violin is a one-off. It's not part of her vampire trilogy. It's
Mhm.
about
I love that.
it's about a
No, I know
woman
she
who.
wrote- so-
Ooh, what is that there, Richard? That's pretty badass.
I take doll houses and I turn them into haunted houses.
Well, I
Nothing
want to
creepy
do that
about that at all.
sometime soon. I think that's brilliant.
That sounds cool.
They're $3 at Goodwill, and then I turn them into something I can sell for about $200. So,
You're a very lucky man if you can find one of those for $3.
That looks awesome.
well, I mean, they're freaking just.
You got to get the
Because-
Amity. You
because
got to
I
get the
do that kind of
Amityville
thing.
house. The Amityville house.
But-
That'd be dope.
Actually, what I wanted to tell you is no, you're not wrong by passing on that. I mean, getting rid of or burning whatever, because your story right now has inspired, well, first of all, me and most likely others, to keep the positivity going. And we know that we cannot attract and draw any negativity or whatever. We must continue positive stuff. As my computer says it wants to die now. Literally right fucking now. What
Well,
is that?
my curse is over. I refute my curse. I humbled myself before Marie. I
That is
apologize.
insanity.
It does not follow me. At least I don't believe it
Theater
does.
wants to be. Fuck
It
this.
was real bad there for a while. Real bad. That's my Halloween story.
No, I believe in omens, absolutely. I mean, not the omen, but I believe in omens, and I see things, and I smell. Maybe you'll smell something, and it reminds you of something that happened to you 50 or 40, 30, 20, whatever years ago. Even if it's not even your own life, you just smell it, and you're like, oh, I understand that. And then you meet the person who actually wrote the book or something about that, like the next day. Yeah. So I absolutely believe in. Since we're talking about supernatural, I'll go ahead and share this. Hey, Scotty, can you put me on full?
I'm pretty sure I could. Let me see if I can figure this out.
Can you?
Okay.
Hey,
much money you got?
Spider-Man. Hey, Spidey.
Christine is one of my favorite movies. I mean, nobody's asking me
All
to
right.
pour it up. Though this painting is super special because, as I was talking with you about what is your name? Tiger Stripes. Yeah, we're talking about supernatural. Well, can you do me a full screen?
I'm doing my darndest.
Scotty, I need you.
No, come on, stop it. I don't know. How
I'm
to do
giving
this.
her all she's got.
Steve
I've
just
got-
left. I
I've
don't
got
know what I'm
some Star
doing.
Trek stuff here. I got some
I'm
Star
giving her all she's got. She's sound.
Come on.
Well,
I can
actually,
figure
I got
this
some.
out.
I got a
No,
blaster.
I can figure this out. I can figure this out. You're a monkey with an uncle.
Is Steve over there? Well, anyway, because this has a story. This one picture, when I flip it, it has a story, and it has absolutely to do with what Tiger was talking about. So that's why I want to do this now.
Yeah, well, you start and I'll catch up.
You have the floor.
All right, no, okay, so I found you. All right, so you guys know the movie.
No, I didn't do that. That's crazy.
Carpenter. John Carpenter's Christine is such a masterful movie. The one thing that we never see in the entire movie, aside from her personality and her ego and her jealousy, we never get to see her.
Dun,
That's
dun.
my version of Christine.
Got a thing for cars, do you?
Yeah, well, somebody does.
Yeah, you.
Not just cars, but vintage.
I've only done two cars in my entire life, and I've got the other one, and one was for Mick Garris. So,
And yeah,
Or-
and so based on the movie Christine, have you ever had sex with either one of those cars?
have I ever had? No, not. That's not necessarily something I'm.
Well, no, but that's a central premise of Christine.
Yeah, but that's not. I mean, I've got a lot of fetishes, though. Not that. I'm not gonna.
Not.
car.
You know what? RC from Transformers. Get off.
You know,
my
my
lawn.
wife's name is RC.
By that logic, Scotty, you must love to tame.
My wife's name is RC, and I could see the Transformers right over there. That's kind of a no-go conversation. Let's move on. Yeah.
Yeah, let's stop having sex with cars.
So that's
Well, she was a motorcycle, or it was a motorcycle, but anyway. Yeah.
They.
Share that. But Tiger, because while we're talking about the supernatural and everything, it makes perfect sense that
I think we're talking about horror.
No,
I think we're talking about people getting ripped up. I think we're talking about people being chased and put in their absolute, you cannot get away. How is this? Whether it be suffocation, you want some claustrophobia? We got it. You want to be chased by a knife wielding maniac?
Holy shit!
It's here.
Buddy.
Welcome to Halloween.
Buddy,
You know what? You know
has
what's
there
a really
been a
good.
movie where a person is stuck in their car?
You know
That's
what's sorry. You know what's a really good
No,
horror
you.
movie? But what you're talking about, Scotty, a movie came out a few years ago called Crawl, which should have just been really stupid, but the script was tight. It was well directed. It was very difficult to shoot that movie, and it's basically like a storm and these like
That's the alligator one.
The crocodiles, yeah.
Croc,
whatever, alligators, crocodiles, same thing to me.
my
I know they're different.
Monkeys,
it's
I don't
what's her name?
care.
But that movie is so much better than it should have been. I mean, the premise is like a sci-fi original movie, but that movie is intense and it's so well shot and it's claustrophobic. And have you guys seen that one, Crawl? It's really good.
I have not seen Crawl.
I have not seen it, but I want to see it.
I
It's
saw it,
fucking
and my
great.
heart goes out to that one police officer.
I'll be right back.
Turned into
Yeah.
a
Yeah, man. Yeah, Ernesto's seen it. Yeah, for sure.
like
for
that
sure.
guy went out in such a way that I'm just like, did he find his body? Because all that was
Can
left
I? Do you mind if I share a few of my favorite horror movies?
Oh, you enjoy horror movies? Okay, yeah, no, go, sure.
You're talking about Crawl. Now, Crawl actually had a
Crawl
budget.
is not a horror movie. I even know that, and I'm dumb.
Wait,
No, I'm
John,
not talking
horror
about
movie.
Crawl.
Oh no, we're not talking about Kroll, not with the freaking as whatever.
You
Yeah.
said something that sounded like Crawl, and I apologize if I reacted
Crawl!
emotionally.
I'll have an accent in it. What we got? All right. On the same level, I would
Right.
Splinter. This is a movie that will absolutely fuck with your head.
Splinter is
So
awesome.
genius. It is
Splinter is
so
great.
genius.
Yeah.
Huh? Did you see it?
I saw Splinter. Yeah, that movie's badass, man.
This is fucking genius. All right.
Yeah.
It absolutely. Scotty and Steve, look at it. You
Look at it.
you get a little prick, and then guess what happens to you? And it everybody else. This is a
Splinter
Orgasms?
takes place at a gas station. And
At a
it's
gas
so
station.
intense and awesome. Yeah, man. That movie fucking rocks. Yeah.
That's actually one of my favorite paintings, and I'm tossing it around.
That was
just
awesome,
reminded
man.
me. That just
Dude,
reminded me another underrated horror film is James Gunn's Slither.
Oh
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Slither's good,
I
man.
saw Slither in the theater with a whole
That
bunch
movie's
of
awesome.
Firefly
I
fans.
got the soundtrack right over there, as a matter of fact.
Oh,
Fucking
right,
Michael,
'cause,
Michael Rucker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
and
incredible.
Fillion had a whole bunch of alum in it.
Yeah.
Well,
uh,
it reminds me-
Elizabeth Banks. Is that her name?
Yes.
Yes.
I want to say Elizabeth Shue, but no, Elizabeth Banks.
No, it's Banks. She's
It
like,
re-
to sound racist, she's one of the blonde girls that I'm attracted to.
Well, that is racist because blonde girls are the most discriminated against people.
Well, if you remember in the 80s and
Not really
90s,
gingers.
there was
Redheads.
blonde.
Wow,
there was-
no, you're right. You're right.
No,
Ginger.
man, I'm not talking about that. Yeah,
there
well,
was
because
there's
that
a
was my
lot of
trip off my earlier trip off
unmerited, very misguided blonde jokes in the 80s and 90s. That is not appropriate.
80s, 90s. Come on, it goes way back.
Yeah,
Blonde
Well,
jokes-
maybe it
blonde-
does, but
blonde
I
jokes
wasn't.
go
I
way
wasn't
back,
alive
way
for.
back.
I wasn't alive for those ones. I don't know.
Do you have
the
any
Crow!
idea how many monitors that I bought with whiteout on them?
The Crow.
Yeah.
All right. So, as an artist, I've painted every single movie that I've ever loved up until
I want to see your Rocketeer painting.
So, Richard, would you
Yes, sir.
would you call The Crow a horror movie from the killer's perspective?
Who's the killer?
Well, Eric Draven is the killer. I mean, he's obviously justified, but I just mean like there's a lot of horror movies where the killer is after revenge, and
It's
they
a
show it-
vengeance movie.
they show it from the perspective of the people that have done bad things. That
I know, and I literally
if you take the Crow and you switch it around, and it's from Fun Boy's perspective, and from
well,
you know,
his
from all the
perspective
other-
is like 2 minutes, but all right.
What? No, but that's my point, though. Like a death scene only lasts for so long. You know what I mean? Like that's what I love about The Crow is it's like it's got this horror atmosphere to it because Alex Proyas is just a fucking. He's just a visual genius. Like
Yeah.
he's a visual
Yeah.
mastermind.
Now, I
And-
agree with that, though, because the rape and brutality of the initial, in the movie, the comic as well, but in the movie, when Elizabeth or whatever her name is, she gets, and they're,
Shelley.
Shelley. Wait, no, Shelley's the kid.
No, she's Shelley.
Okay,
Shelley's
okay,
the
okay.
wife, yeah.
Okay. And I've got Pete. Well, as a matter of fact, I sent Rob, who is not here. But anyway, I gave him one of my the Crow paintings. But yeah, absolutely. No, see, and I've been watching. I've been checking out the Crow again because I'm trying to get over it because it seems like it's so outdated. I'm trying to figure out how can they make sure that they can actually update it and still stick to, Shelley being, raped and murdered and him and boom, and, all of that. They have to be able to do that with, at the exact same time as avoiding the stigma of the Lee curse. So, which I think should not be a problem. And I hope to God, but
The little girl's name is Sarah, by the way.
Sarah. Okay, so Sarah. Yeah. All right. So Shelley. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think those of us that love The Crow can feel safe sleeping in our beds tonight because they've been trying to remake this movie for 20 years.
Yeah,
and it keeps falling flat on its ass because I think they know it's kind of it's kind of untouchable. So
yeah.
I think the gods are on our
As well
side
it
that
should
it's
be.
never going to be remade.
Well, there's something different going on, though. I mean, because it technically, when was the last time any of you watched it? Because it does not hold up. It's awesome as it is, and do not.
What are you talking about?
Are you kidding me? I watched it.
Yeah, fucking golf, dude. All right.
I watched it 15 times last year because I edited an episode of Film and Vinyl based on the soundtrack of it. So I watched it about 15
What movie are we talking about?
The
The
Crow.
The Crow.
Oh, I've not actually seen that in so long.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it holds up. Well, at least in my head, because I'm and Ben, you're a filmmaker too. I mean, okay, so we're. I
Oh
guess,
no, The Crow holds up, and The Crow holds up.
The
You know
Crow
what?
holds-
You
the
can
Crow.
Oh wait,
Yeah,
they
but
did
you-
make the remake. They finished
you
filming
can-
it. They announced it a few weeks ago.
you
Yeah.
can
Well,
Who the
walk
fuck is
in.
the actor in it?
It's
You-
Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah, that's right.
No, no.
Yeah.
Cat, no.
I know. I'm not saying I
no,
endorse
no.
it. I'm just saying that was the news story. It came out a few weeks
Bill
ago. They predicted it. I
Skarsgård.
could not believe it.
Why did they get the puny Skarsgård? They should have got
I
Alexander
know.
Skarsgård.
Hey, no. Ben, you're wrong.
Don't
That
shout.
is
I've got on
perfect.
headphones. Don't shout, please.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Come on.
Thank
No,
you.
you're not. I mean,
Everybody,
you're wrong
one at a
considering-
time. One
No,
at a
Ben,
time.
He's got to be the skinny. He's got to be the rocker. He's got to
Well,
be
we
the.
all we should take
Jagger.
turns talking, really. And I agree. Actually, I think the Crow should be a skinny white guy because chicks dig skinny white dudes.
I got spiders dropping on me, but.
Well,
Didn't you
you
stick
know
the
what? I
machete
would
in-
recommend
No?
more heroin.
So earlier,
No. I mean, Ben
earlier
is
you guys were
not
talking
wrong.
about
So
sex
if
and
that's
cars,
the
which
Actually,
Kind of-
Steve, I think that Scotty was talking about sex with cars.
yeah,
But
sex
if you
with
want to talk
cars,
about
yeah.
sex in cars, that's a much healthier choice, I think.
But it made me think of the movie Crash.
Less
I love this
damaging
movie.
to your anatomy.
Oh my God, that's a hell of a
David
novel
Cronenberg.
too.
David
And
Cronenberg, that's my favorite movie.
like is Crash a horror movie?
No,
No.
not at all.
No.
It's an
Yeah.
Oh, I
erotic
think
drama.
anything
erotic
written by
drama.
William Burroughs incorporates horror
All right.
every
erotic-
time.
Oh my God! Well, William Burroughs is one of my favorite authors of all time, but like Crash is an erotic drama, like
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
But you have to admit that Burroughs always has an element of horror in everything he wrote.
Absolutely,
And
Junkie.
that's
Is
true.
Junkie is my second favorite book of all time. And Junkie could be turned into a good horror movie, you know. But I mean, obviously, it's too short. I mean, you'd have to really expand that story. But no, I don't know. I Crash to me is like my least favorite Cronenberg movie. I mean, no offense.
No. I mean, you get that a lot. I get that a lot. I know I'm kind of in the minority on that.
And none of
movie.
us really
I
even
like
mentioned Cronenberg. I think because a lot of his stuff for me is middle of the road. Like I love Cronenberg, but like none of it's my favorite stuff, I guess. So I do love The Brood. The Brood's pretty great.
Yeah, it's good.
Rabid
Well,
is
Scanner.
Oh, and I have to correct myself. Crash is not Burroughs. Crash is Ballard. So
Well, there you go. Now,
okay.
Rabid is
Oh
the
my-
first time I ever experienced Cronenberg, and then I fell in love with him ever since.
Naked Lunch is crazy.
yeah, Naked
disturbing.
Lunch, man. Yeah.
And it's a great performance by Peter Weller.
God.
And everything about that movie is just disturbing. Is it a horror movie? No.
Okay, that's
Does
what
it
she was
give you
talking
the
about.
heebie-jeebies? Uh-huh.
Hey, Scott.
Well, was Naked Lunch
talking
was
about.
Naked Lunch a Bukowski or a Burroughs novel?
Burroughs.
I think it was a Burroughs.
Burroughs.
David Lynch is
Yeah.
definitely Burroughs.
Yeah.
Hey,
Except
Ernesto,
Burroughs
I
just got the last one wrong, but yeah.
I heard you saying,
No, that's okay.
hey, Scott,
Yeah, what the hell are you doing down there?
I'm drinking.
I mean, why are you down there?
Well, because this is
Oh,
where
there
all
you
my
go.
stuff is.
Now I'm at the bottom,
I was about to put the
right
bottle.
where I belong.
So I mentioned two of the
Oh,
movies.
now I'm in the middle. Hey, let's just keep switching them, and we'll do like a Brady Bunch opening later. Like, I'll edit it together. Right now, I'm Alice, so I'm like,
Well, no, when I was at the bottom, I felt like Atlas.
Oh, now I'm at the bottom.
The weight of the world on your shoulders.
Sisyphusian.
"Hi, Richard."
Oh,
Well,
that's nice.
the boulder being pushed uphill.
Yeah.
Scotty.
Critters
What
is
a-
another of my favorite movies.
What are your favorite movies? Tell me it's The Little Mermaid.
Well, Critters, I watched it eighth grade graduation. I watched Critters and Stand By Me.
I haven't seen Critters in forever.
Well, I don't know. Is Terje here? Because I've got this painting that I'm going to send to him.
How hard is it? How hard is it to paint a critter?
That was the seventh one that I did after 20 years. I did it. I did 6 more, but it was
Right.
hard. But when I went in to do the this one for the critter, this is the largest, and this is actually the first one that I started burning. As a matter
This
of
is
fact.
your biggest critter.
Well, it's the smallest creature, and but
No, I want a critter from the movie Critters.
here.
There you go.
Yep.
Oh, that counts.
Good one.
Yeah, it's
That's
the
a great
longest
critter,
painting I
dude.
ever
That
did.
looks fucking awesome.
Yeah, all right. thank you. And
That
I
looks
started
like
burning it, and that's when I got the idea. Oh yeah, I want to burn my stuff because look at that. I kind of burned it, and I like.
Well, don't burn that one.
I like the shape.
Don't
How
burn
it got burned.
that
I
kind of
like
looks
that.
like Danny
Yeah,
Trejo.
do not burn your art.
But anyway, I'm sending that to Terje. We're gonna figure it out. But you know what? You guys are talking about Tremors. And there's a
No one was talking about Tremors.
no. There's a Scottish. I think isn't it Scottish? And it's called Grabbers, and it's freaking brilliant. It's like everything that we were talking about. They're stuck at a bar because there's aliens that crash landed around a freaking island. Though the aliens are they die with alcohol, so everybody has to get drunk. And it's a Scotch film or Irish film. I'm not sure. I think it's Scottish, and everybody
Is
has.
this World's End?
It's called. Well, no. It's similar. I think it came out a tad bit before, or around the same time. I mean, it's very similar. Though Grabbers is way better in the sense that you're stuck in one building, whereas at World's End, they're going on a trek. They're going to end up, at that location. At in Grabbers, they're stuck. You're here. And they got all these police.
That's
police
definitely a genre of horror movie where somebody mentioned there was one that takes place in just a gas station. That's
No,
pretty
that's what I'm
interesting.
talking about.
And
Splinter.
the Mist, of course,
Splinter.
largely takes
Splinter.
place in a grocery store.
Yeah, no. Wait, what are you talking about? The grocery? Because I'm talking about
The Mist. The Mist
but-
takes place in a
yeah.
grocery store.
Missed.
Oh, the Mist. Oh, yeah.
Oh, the Mist is crazy. man.
Other elements.
Frank
Yeah,
Darabont.
you're
a
not
hell
wrong.
of a novella too.
You're not wrong. Though the Mist. You know how depressing it. The actual film. What's his name? As he filmed it. How the ending of that is super depressing.
Well, it's Lovecraftian, and Lovecraftian monsters are ultimately depressing because you either are consumed or you go insane. There's no other real
Yeah.
alternative there.
How do
I've
we
been
get-
running Call of Cthulhu, my version of Call of Cthulhu, for
All right.
7 years, and I've got all of the notes and everything, all of my artwork. You're absolutely right. Now, I love the Mist because
I'd kind of like to hear from Catherine.
On what?
Anything.
She just likes your voice, Kat.
Hey,
Uh,
Kat,
Like I do.
Kat, before you go, guys, I got to take my leave.
Oh,
No. If you
come
guys go
on.
as long
It's
as you
Devil's
did last
Night.
time,
Devil's
if you guys
Night,
go as
dude.
long as you did last time, I'll come
Devil's
back.
Night. Devil's
I just
Night.
got
Okay.
I just got a reminder via text message that we have a show coming out tomorrow that I have not finished editing yet.
Okay.
So I have to
One-
finish editing that, and then I'll come back on but I'm gonna keep watching. I always watch you guys when you're
For
live, so-
sure. We're not stopping just because you left. But if you come back,
That's
I would
not
be
what I
so
meant,
happy.
Scotty. You son of a bitch.
I will eat your ass.
Oh, all right.
I'm gonna keep listening. I just have to finish some shit up, but I would love to come back on if you guys are still on. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you're always welcome, sir.
Absolutely,
Thank you
dude.
so much.
Absolutely.
Go and
We'll
I
be
wish
there.
I wish I knew how to copy your link into the chat and make sure that everyone subscribes to Cinema
Jill,
He knows that,
Incredible.
yeah,
Fancy.
Jill did it. And just really quickly, in case you got
Uh-huh.
in before I come back on, the thing I'm editing tonight, it's called our Halloween Excream, and we're putting it out tomorrow. So it's going to be all the shit that we did all week
Cool.
that has everything Halloween, and we're also going to add in some of the reviews that we did this month. So it's going to be very long, but it's going to be live, so people can come on and just bullshit while we're doing our thing. But
Well, if
time
it's
is it
live,
live?
why do you have to leave us to edit?
well, because it would look really weird if I was just.
He's got business.
I don't need to
Don't
answer
question
that.
him.
All right.
See you in a bit, bitch. See you in a bit.
All right.
Yeah.
Later, man.
I admire you and I
I'll
think
pay.
you're a professional. I
think
wish
you're
to
a
be as
professional.
cool as you someday.
I think you're a professional, Scott.
You're
Hey,
a
Tiger,
masculinity.
Nobody could be as cool as you, Scotty.
That's true.
Tiger, I've got several Cthulhu paintings, H.P. Lovecraft, this and that. didn't-
Hard
Ah,
cast.
yeah. Why are you trying to hit on her with tentacles?
They
when I
terrify
was
me.
dead?
No, good God, no.
Okay, so did anybody here besides me see Werewolf by Night?
I
Yes.
did. I did not care for
Oh,
it. It's like they're trying to imitate the old Universal horror thing with the black and white and the flicker effects, but it's like, for starters, they should have shot it on film. It would have looked so much better.
Right.
And I figured, okay, I was a little patient in the beginning when they're setting up the characters and all that, and I figured that once the hunt began, it was going to turn into like a Universal monster movie. Instead, it just gets sidetracked with the two characters that have the friendship, the quirky characters, and then the Cthulhu monster turns out to be the guy's friend named Ted. I'm like, what is this? And the one thing I did admittedly like about it was when the transformation happens, you only see it in the shadows, which I thought was pretty cool. But on the whole, it's like, I think it could easily have been so much better. I thought, eh.
I can't argue any of those points. I also had trouble with them ending with somewhere over the rainbow. I don't appreciate it when they take something that's already iconic in an oral, song like that, and then link it to their kind of crummy story. It bothers me. I did love the transformation. That was beautiful.
Yeah, I love this one.
But I assume it was a comic book. It really felt like a comic book. Like a
I assume the characters from comics.
The characters are from the books. But
Okay.
But yeah. Speaking of werewolf movies, I honestly never really cared for an American Werewolf in London.
Oh, it's one of my very favorite films.
I-
Tell me why you don't like it.
Okay, so I like the beginning of it when they're on the moors and it's really atmospheric and creepy.
Yeah.
After that, every time the friend shows up as a ghost or whatever he is or a zombie, it's like really funny. But I felt like, okay, so the guy's going around and then he kind of does the one transformation and it just kind of, I thought, ho hum, it didn't really do anything for me. I was like, okay. Other than the beginning, like once he goes to the city, it's just kind of all right. And it's like another, I guess part of that is because again, this thing where you have like a comedian trying to direct a horror film, like they've had with David Gordon Green and Danny McBride with these latest 3 Halloween movies. It's like they don't really, I don't think it transcribes to horror as well, even though obviously humor is an aspect of all horror. But here it just didn't, I don't know. I never really thought much about it. I thought it was like, okay. But a lot of people are crazy about it. They love it.
Yeah, I'm one of them.
yeah, it features prominently on most.
Oh
lists.
no! I just picked my nose. It's gross.
That's okay. We're not paying attention to you right now.
Yeah,
Thank
I
God.
didn't see it either.
I missed it. Yeah, I'm listening to Kat and I'm listening to Steve. Where it's
That's one
unnecessary.
of the movies
No, I just realized I was on camera. Anyway, keep going, keep talking.
Well, gladly, that's all you did on camera.
That was literally the first one when I was doing all the shows for the Post Singularity. The Burn Network. That was the first one that I paid for, and I've still got it on my computer. And I mean, I like it, though I don't necessarily love it. I love
it. I mean, the opening is really
that's what I love.
satire of Hammer films, Hammer horror films, particularly with the pub sequence.
No, I feel
I
it.
thought he actually did that sequence better than the Hammer horror films even. I thought it was on its way to being like, man, this is going to be a really good horror movie, especially when you saw just how pitch dark things were on the moors. Like he didn't put any of that artificial, night vision lighting to get you used to it. It's like it's really creepy. And then when they go in the pub and they're all and all the locals kind of know what's going on, I'm like, ooh, this is going to be really good. But then once he goes to the city, I just kind of lost interest in everything after that. I don't know.
Richard and I did.
I mean, that is such a beautiful movie, though. I mean, but it's not necessarily like one of my faves. Though it is something that's absolutely gorgeous.
Well, I love the movie so much, but I can see Kat's perspective because that first part, the first 20 minutes of the movie, to the point where the werewolf attack, and after that, and yeah, when you take it to London, that first beginning part in the country is so deep and rich, and then you transfer it to a city, and cities themselves are such a sort of a artificial environment. I kind of get what you're saying.
I do actually, as I remember, as you're talking about it, I like the subway scene though, where He's like
And
trying to run
the
into
theater
someone. Like that's
scene
where
was really hilarious, and I don't
and
know.
the
I love that
transformation
movie.
too. I like that they did it with practical effects and that it
Yeah.
looks really intense. Unlike the remake they did with, or not the remake, but unlike other more recent,
They
Well,
did remake it, I think. I have not seen the remake.
or no, actually, it's not a remake. I was thinking about a different movie, but other werewolf movies in general, where it's just like everything goes to CG these days. Like we were mentioning earlier, that the remake of Salem's Lot has been delayed because of all the post production delays from COVID, and I'm thinking
Mhm.
that's a simple vampire movie. There shouldn't be any CGI heavy stuff in this movie.
Right.
Innocent Blood came out in 1993 when I was still in the military in Hawaii, and I loved that movie. I mean, I acknowledge it's kind of silly, though. I even wrote. Well, I mean, I wrote something when I was younger, and then I wrote this as a sequel, taking her character. I forget her name, but have you guys seen Innocent Blood? And it was it John Lennon? Who directed that?
I feel like I've
It sounds
seen
familiar.
Innocent Blood, but it did not stick in my brain. Isn't the lead the same actress in La Femme Nikita? Because I love Nikita. I saw that film multiple times in the theater. Anne Perriot.
Yep.
Does that sound
Yep.
right?
Parallel. Yep. Oh my God. I was so inspired and enamored. And this is before I saw La Femme Nikita. I wrote, like 20, 30, 40 pages as a sequel to the story that I'd already written, bringing her into my story. I love her. I loved her.
You're a very beautiful woman.
I think I've seen this.
And it was so, I mean, she's so, proper. And you had, and the actors in there, you had, like some kind of mainstays. You had a couple of
Chaz Palminteri
Yes.
and Anthony LaPaglia.
Yep. Tony LaPaglia. Yeah. Yep. And
Robert Loggia.
Huh?
Robert Loggia.
Yeah.
Robert Loggia, yes. And his transformation was a tad bit off for me, though, because she was so enamoring.
Oh shit! Kim Coates was in that movie. Dude, there's a lot of good actors in this movie.
Everything made sense to me.
Rickles and Savini. I don't even
guess that's
remember
my fourth
them.
on my list.
I think I saw this film on the television where it undoubtedly lost a lot by being cut for commercials. So it
Frank
doesn't stick
Oz.
with me, but I do remember it being good.
Sam Raimi's in the movie too.
Because I used to write, I started off writing zombie stuff, and then I went into vampire stuff, and I wrote that before I joined here. And then now I do mostly ghosts and supernatural, and a little bit of this and that and everything. Though that movie, it just turned me on. Not like sexual. I loved her character. I thought she's absolutely gorgeous. Her energy is perfect, and I love that energy.
Oh, but there is, and this has nothing to do with horror. Actually, no, it does have something to do with an apocalypse, which is horrific. But have you ever seen Night of the Comet?
Fuck yeah, dude. I'm sorry.
Only on
Well, no.
TV, and I think I've seen it just in bits and pieces, not properly. I mean, I feel like I may have, and again, it didn't stick with me. I know it's good.
Well, no, it is renowned. Like, Tiger, have you ever seen a Buckaroo Banzai?
One of my very favorite films.
Like, I would say Night of the Comet. Night of the
Comet.
Comet is probably like a GoBot Buckaroo Banzai. Like it is in the same ridiculousness and spirit. However, it is also like you're like, what?
I haven't read the translation, because Dave the Triffids is my favorite book that I've ever read in my life.
I've never had a Triffid.
Dave the Triffids, yeah, and the movie is absolutely fantastic.
I still haven't seen that one.
No, hold on. Wait, did you see it or no?
No, I need to.
I would actually recommend
my British horror just because it hasn't been playing on the television for whatever reason.
You
Ladies
need
and
to
gentlemen,
watch-
boys and girls, before we move on, I just want to let you know that this is the Fantasmagorium's second annual Devil's Night free for all.
Free
And
for all.
so that means that this night is brought to you by, you guessed it, the devil.
That's right.
I was like, are we having commercials now?
I was wondering that too.
Speak of the
Brought to you
devil
in
and
part by
post.
Satan.
All right.
We're all going to watch Eyes Wide Shut later.
Oh God, help us.
Oh, wait. Are you talking? Wait, he just died. What are you talking about?
Who just died?
Oh, all right. Well, anyway, let me get to the.
No, this would be great breaking
right over that.
news.
Who just died, Richard?
You can't just say that.
Mike Shank, the co-actor and creator of American Movie, which is my favorite documentary of all time.
Oh, yes, that gentleman died recently.
What does that have to do with
Eyes Wide Shut.
Eyes Wide Shut? Is he in it?
Because he said Mike Shank, but and I misinterpreted it. But anyway, the guy's name was Mike Shank.
I never said Mike Shank.
No, well, you said something similar. It doesn't matter. Come on, it's free for all.
What, I rhymed?
This is my.
Well,
Star
you
Wars
are the
mom.
very definition of free for all, Richard. I gotta say.
True story. And that's why
Nothing
we
wrong
are
with that.
so happy
Yeah.
to. You know what? I enjoy
I find
celebrating.
artists are often very free form.
Yeah, I'm actually
Visual artists,
being paid
painters.
to paint, and I haven't even started painting yet. So maybe I should get to that.
Yeah, get to
But
it.
I'm looking to hear from Ernesto and Steve one of these days.
I want to hear what Ernesto thinks is his most underrated horror movies. Horror movies that Ernesto thinks people are like, no, these are scary, and you think they're stupid.
Well, as I don't like to disappoint, I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint because I don't have one.
Well, are there movies that you've seen and that, like, you find them incredibly terrifying, but other people have never brought them up in conversation?
No, not really.
Okay, so you're pretty much homogenous with the rest of the horror community.
I just watch them. I mean, mostly I watch horror movies just to appreciate the craft that goes behind them and what new original spin they can throw. It's already been done when you think about it. So it's just a matter of, okay, what have you got for me?
What is the favorite way that you've seen someone be murdered in a horror movie? My favorite is when Kevin Bacon got stabbed through the back of the neck, through his throat. I thought that was terrifying.
That was a good one. That was a good death.
Like, I think that's like top 5.
What
for
movie is
all
that? Though?
time.
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th, part 1.
Yeah,
They didn't even have part 1.
No, like his second film or so.
I don't have a specific death, but I will give credit to the early days of Saw when they really got creative with the death.
Yeah. Good ones.
That was a franchise that just went off the rails so fast. Because it's like the first one is like a puzzle box. It's like a brain teaser mystery, and you're trying to figure it out. And it's excellent atmosphere, and it's really creepy. But I think they should have swapped the actors. It's like Carrie Elways should have been swapped with Danny Glover, and Lee Winnell should have been swapped with Ken Leung because they're both better actors than those two. And the dialogue from the two in the bathroom needed to be rewritten. Some of it was really bad, but a great midnight movie. Saw 2 changes it up to have like a race against time type of thing. It was actually pretty fun. Saw 3 had Saw 3 had the theme of forgiveness, which was pretty good. But then after that, they embraced this idea of all the movies were after that was you have to maim yourself in the space of like 1 minute or you're going to die, rinse, dry, repeat. And it was no longer about a mystery box, puzzle box. No longer a brain teaser. It was just that.
Right.
What's the goriest way we could think of killing somebody in 1 minute unless they maim themselves? Like, this is not.
I agree. I actually had fun with the first 3 Saw movies. I think they're good. They're fun. But it lost something, after
I
that.
think if the one that comes to mind right now that made me laugh, not because it was creative, was because it's happening off screen, and for whatever reason, my reaction was laughing. I think it was either the second or the third Grudge movie, where the kid from the first one survives. He's in a mental institution, and the Grudge is coming after him.
I'm
And
sorry, the second or third what movie?
the Grudge.
Oh, The
He's
Grudge.
talking about Ju-on the Grudge, the American version by Stephen. What's his name?
So she's coming after the kid, and he starts having like this episode on screen, and then the guards are trying to run to his room to get him, and all of a sudden when they leave, the kid's body is being tossed around the room like a rag doll, and I couldn't help but laugh because I'm just like, oh shit, they're actually showing the kid get killed. Because you don't see that too often in horror movies, the kids getting killed, especially that brutally.
No, in no movie you see children getting killed. It's very unusual.
But you know what? I really enjoy child murder.
Oh, Hereditary.
So, thank you. I will check that movie out.
So I have the A to Z encyclopedia of serial killers here, which I actually added all of my own thumbnails and Cthulhu and everything. Anyway, I just want to toss that out there.
Speaking of Cthulhu, Rich and I did a watch party together. Well, it was about 2 years ago now, maybe.
That was one of the greatest ones.
If
Color
I
Out
may-
of Space. Color
Hang
Out
on.
of Space is a really underrated horror
Oh
movie.
my god!
I guess
that
it's
is
horror.
actually-
It's
if I get,
classified as horror, mystery horror, but it's a great movie.
Well,
Scotty, were you there? Were you there? Isn't it? Were you?
yes, I played the second lead. Tiger Stripes, I apologize for that. I did that for extremist response, and I apologize.
Oh,
I'm
I
sorry,
forgot. I've got
what
horror
are you
film
apologizing
trivia, and I'm
for?
going to give away
Not
my favorite.
I don't know. I was being sharp.
The part when he said that he loves child murder.
Yeah,
Oh, that.
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, all
That
I
is
can think of is
exactly what I
apparently there
was
was a Hitchcock
apologizing.
movie where a baby in a baby carriage, goes down many, many steps and then gets hit by a car. And as I understand it, the very first cut of the movie, he actually had that happen, and the audience just lost their mind and rioted. And he had to go back and recut it, which is not like Hitchcock.
Well, it's a
That's
very
amazing because that's Ghostbusters 2. Though if he actually did that, that's freaking genius.
well, it's an interesting question about the sliding scale of what you and I and everyone here
Oh yeah.
in the chat, all of the 2 people who are watching, like everyone who
Yeah,
has been a part of it, I will not. And like, what is scary to you? There is a sliding scale, and you don't know how far and wide your fear spreads. That's also part of the fear. Like, I don't know. Halloween is an interesting thing when you examine fear, but also it is a time where you can wear a tie.
Are
If
you
I may,
costuming tonight, Scotty?
I'm sorry, which?
Are you costuming tonight?
I did earlier, and now I think I am again. But every time I costume, everyone says I look like me.
Well, I figured the tie would probably be some sort of costume.
No, well, handsome.
no, as far as auto arrow.
I don't think that's what ties indicate, but nonetheless.
I thought. What?
Yeah, I wore a costume to go to the supermarket the other day. I had a good time. I got my
What'd
Hellfire
you
Club
wear? What did
t-shirt.
you look like? What did you dress up as?
I'm Eddie Munson, more or less.
Really? That's
Sure.
hot.
I got my Hellfire Club t-shirt, and I'm very happy with it.
Oh my stars. Okay, so Tiger, what is your best Halloween costume? And we're gonna go around the horn. Tiger, you go first. What is your best
My favorite one. My favorite one.
favorite? Favorite I will accept.
Favorite's not really the same as best, but my
Fair
favorite
enough.
one was I costumed back in the day as Death, is Neil Gaiman's Death.
Nice.
And I went to a party where I had a lovely time because I tried to do the character and everything. And people would say, "Hi, I'm John." I'm like, "I'm Dee Dee. It's really nice to meet you." You know, I try to just be very, very upbeat and friendly, the way that Death is in the comic, but not in the series. But I'm not going there. And then the Halloween night, I actually couldn't catch any traction all night long. And I kept saying, everybody who I spoke to was like, "Well, what's going on tonight?" I'm like, "There's nothing going on here in the valley. I got to go over the hill, I think, and go over to the Central because I have a feeling that something's happening at the Central tonight." And, you know, and again, I told this to more than a few people that night. It was Halloween night, and I don't know why I didn't go. And then the next day I thought, well, you know, that was, I think, a Friday. I said, you know, there's bound to be a party tonight. You know, maybe there's still some, you know, festivities going on. So I drove over the hill and I went, which is not like me, you know, to kind of go check out a scene before I'm going to make the scene. And I kind of walked up and somebody stuck a microphone in my face. And I said, you know, and they said, "Oh, do you have any, you have any opinion on what happened here last night?" And I'm like, "No, I don't, because I don't know what happened here last night. I wasn't here last night." And they said, "Well, you have any feelings as a River Phoenix fan?" And I said, "No, I don't. I don't have any opinion on that. No comment." But apparently he had died. And all night long, I just had this nagging thing. Go, you have to go. But I didn't. But that was my favorite costume. Boy, that really brought everything to a standstill.
Well, you brought up the death of Joaquin Phoenix. What did you expect?
River.
Whatever. Oh no, Joaquin Phoenix is still alive. Thank heavens.
I don't have a funny story or a fun story, but I think my favorite costume was the vampire costume with the teeth and the whole thing when I was like 7 or 8 years old. It's still one of my fondest memories of Halloween.
Yeah, doing vampires is fun.
And it was really awesome. And
wait, phrasing.
Dressing as vampires is a ton of fun. Continue, Steve.
Yeah, but doing vampires, like they are sexy beasts. Like if you want to get laid by a
the man who's never seen Twilight.
But I'm interested. I am open to Twilight.
We interrupted Steve. I'm sorry.
We did.
I was just about to be finished. Anyways, it's just
no. Please,
you were 7 or 8, and
finish.
Have you have costumed as a vampire since then?
No.
You got it.
No.
I think you got to.
Just something I did when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an awesome time. Halloween used to be really awesome where I grew up. Like nowadays, you can't,
Where did you grow up?
You hardly get any kids out. But when I was growing up in the 70s and 80s, it was wow. It was a huge thing. Everybody went out. Everybody participated. The streets were full of kids and families. And
where was that, Steve?
In Cypress, California. Orange County.
Well, and you're talking about your best or your favorite.
That was my favorite.
Your favorite Halloween costume.
Correct.
So, and it is, what did you dress up as?
The vampire.
You were a vampire. Did you have a cape?
So, you had the cape. I had a really cool cape.
Teeth?
And had the teeth.
Did you have white face?
Yes, I did.
Nice. You know what? That's quality.
Mom did the makeup and the little peak, the little what do you call it?
The widow's peak.
Yeah, widow's peak. Yeah, the whole thing.
Toast.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So,
and I can't remember what I had underneath the cape. It was some kind of frilly pirate type of shirt or something. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you need a frilly shirt. Yeah.
Poofy shirt.
Let's see. I have a bunch of horror movie steelbooks here.
Ooh.
Pulled off the shelf.
All right.
Let's see. I got.
While you're, I want to talk about my favorite costume.
All right, you go first.
my favorite Halloween costume.
You go first.
The year was like 1986, I think. 1985. I know. Don't worry. There's going to be a 6-year-old in blackface.
Canceled.
I know. So anyway, I wanted to go as Mr. T from the A-Team.
Yeah.
And my mom made me the best Mr. T from the A-Team costume that a person from Ontario could do for a white boy. And so they browned me up and they made me a beard with makeup. And there was a stocking with wool mohawk. And they got me a vest and a bunch of costume jewelry. And that's how I trick-or-treated.
Let's hear the line.
Oh, I pitied the fool.
No. Say it like you mean it.
Well, no, I was 4.
Say it now.
Say it.
God.
Say
I
it.
pitied the fool.
There we go. Good boy.
Is that good enough?
That's
Yeah,
perfect.
Hang on.
Good boy. You're
Right.
the truth.
Well, you can't. Anyway.
Oh, I think
So
I
anyway, that's
I could-
that. I enjoyed that one the most.
my very last trick-or-treating, I can almost top that for offensiveness, although I really think that's a beautiful thing for a child to do. I really do. Kids don't see color. They just want to be who
Yeah.
they like. My
That's
very
how
last,
I felt about it.
absolutely.
What was yours?
My very last trick-or-treating costume was a Confederate soldier. So there you go.
A sexy Confederate soldier.
No, everybody thought it was a boy. I'm proud to say. Yeah.
A trans Confederate soldier.
No, just a Confederate soldier. Yeah, some mean old guy said to me, "Aren't you a little old to be trick-or-treating?" And I said with my girl voice, "I'm 12." But I knew in my heart then it was my last Halloween out.
Bum, 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 bum,
I remember for some reason.
bum, bum.
What was that? Or did Ernesto say something?
No, just summing.
Oh, I remember when I was 18, a bunch of us decided to go out trick-or-treating as part of a Halloween party thing. And some people actually dressed up in
As
costume.
you
I'm like, "You really
do."
and I'm like, "You really want to do that?" And they're like, "Yeah." So we went around the neighborhood. And it was actually kind of fun.
Well, how are you dressed?
I was wearing, I think I can't remember what my thought was, but I had like these dress pants, these dress shoes, a buttoned up white shirt with little bits of blood dripping from the breast pocket. And I had on these like glasses that were not prescription or anything, because they're fake kind of like wire rimmed horn glasses. And with my hair like combed over really thin, and I can't remember what the thinking was because there was some type of joke associated with it. But we were going around, and people couldn't figure out what, because other people in the group were dressed up like members from the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Others were dressed up like horror icons or whatever. I remember we'd actually tried to get the high school to accept Rocky Horror Picture Show for the fall play for our senior year, and they wanted me to play Riff Raff, but
Oh, right.
the school said no, and like, we shouldn't do that. It's not high school friend, whatever, because it was like
You would be such a good Riff Raff.
Riff Raff. I would totally be Riff Raff, and that was 16 years ago. But it was fun. It was fun, and it was kind of funny, and that was the last time. Nowadays
Yeah.
on Halloween, I typically go out somewhere. Like tomorrow, I'm going to go to the Crest, and next weekend they'll have the last weekend for this haunted house, professional haunted house thing off the freeway
bitchin'.
down the way in this neat place. And one of them was one year they did this thing called Dark, where you go in the basement, and it's just like jet black, and you have to push your way through like these big pressurized like airbags or whatever, and
That's cool.
and every once in a while something flashes at you in the dark, and it was like really freaky. But they do a different theme. Like last year they also had a 3D Alice in Wonderland from Hell type theme, where you put on your 3D glasses and they have these weird projections as you're walking through like the Mad Hatter's Tea Party and stuff like that with all the cards. It was
Neat.
so weird.
Super neat.
Yeah, and they put a lot of effort into it, which is like really cool.
Yeah, I love that. Love a good haunt.
Yeah.
Well, I have a story as far as costumes.
A story. Tell us.
Yeah.
It'll be a funny one, I guarantee. So, the first time in memory that I actually remember dressing up was Zorro one year.
Hmm.
And it was kind of a recurring theme because the year after that, I dressed up as Batman. And we all know the parallels with Zorro and Batman in the comics. So the year I dressed up as Batman, I was really into Batman and Robin because that was one of it's safe to say Batman and Robin and Batman Forever
Because
were.
that was the year you discovered you were gay.
Anywho,
No, I'm being
basically
facetious. I'm not
it was
being. I'm.
it
I
was
Yeah.
no.
all
No,
right.
let
So
Ernesto continue, please.
I will.
It was basically my first exposure to live action Batman with those movies.
Mm.
So it was also, and I'm not ashamed to say this out loud, it was around the time where I had my sexual awakening, and Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy was one of them. And I just voiced out, wow, she's beautiful. She's gorgeous. I never said hot. I just said she's beautiful. She's gorgeous. I love her. And I watched that movie a lot just because she was in it for the most part. And for whatever reason, that year that I dressed up as Batman, my mom thought it was a good idea. And this is just in hindsight. My
Oh
mom thought it was
no!
a good idea
Don't
to
say it.
dress up as Uma Thurman's Poison.
Oh no!
What?
And
Oh no!
and I
That's
got
Hey, Scott,
home
stop. We can't hear what he's saying. What's the punchline?
the punchline. He already said it.
that I got
Well-
home and my mom wanted to surprise me with her costume, and her costume was Uma Thurman's.
No, she ruined it for you.
And
Oh,
I'm
no.
like, and as a
Oh,
kid, you don't have the words
Ernesto.
to express why that wasn't a good idea.
That is the
I-
saddest story in the whole
Well, it's not
world.
sad. It's
Yes,
just
it
so
is.
ironic. It's just one of those things where it's
That
just
is
like
hilarious.
it is. It is. Oh, I'm trying to make. Okay, I'm trying to express myself because I like Batman so much. And then your mom was there, and she was like, "I'm trying to connect with my son because he likes Batman
No,
so
that's
much."
not how you
So
should be
she
connecting with your
dressed.
son.
Well, no, I don't know. She doesn't know.
Let's put it
That's so
this way. Let's
funny.
put it this way. And it's harmless by way of she doesn't know what was going through my head. So for her, it was harmless to dress up as Poison Ivy.
Oh no, of
Exactly.
course, but it's
But as
still.
She
an
doesn't
adult
even
now,
know
looking
what
back
a
on it, I was
poison
like,
ivy
oh
is.
mom, no. Oh mom, no, you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Oh no. Thanks, mom. My boner is bigger.
Yeah.
She ruined it for you.
So
Yeah, exactly. Or
I can-
lesser. I
I
don't
can
even
say
know.
for-
Where
I
does
can
this
say
Oedipal
for-
complex go?
I can say for certain that was the last time I dressed up for anything. I can't really remember any other time I dressed
Well,
up.
it was probably the first time that you masturbated to poison ivy.
And then, as you can see, my icon picture here, I dressed up as one of the members of the Court of Owls just for the image, but I never went out dressed as one. I've
Of
never
the-
been invited to a
The Court
Halloween
of what?
party, so what can you do?
The Court of Owls are Batman villains from the New 52 continuity. It's like a cult of super rich socialites in Gotham that have been pulling the strings of the city for years.
Cool.
And they seize upon dead, like, these corpses, reanimate them and they call them Talons, dressing them up like these evil owls and arm them up, and they go out to assassinate people that they deem need to be taken out. And it's like the first issue is such a trippy comic because at one point they kidnap Batman and they drop him off in some crazy ass labyrinth where it's like almost like an LSD nightmare fuel ray. It's so weird, but it's a great comic.
Who's
But they
the
took off
writer?
and they're really popular now in the lore.
Yeah.
But they wear those types of masks and they're really creepy.
Who's the writer?
That's Greg Capullo and
Scott Snyder.
Scott Snyder.
Okay. That's very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I got all those books there. The
It
trade
sounds
paperback.
like Grant. I can't think of his last
Grant
name.
Morrison.
Yeah, it
Morris?
sounds so nuts. It sounds like Grant Morrison.
Yeah.
Mm.
It would have been. I feel that if it weren't for the New 52, they would have been a very great addition. If they never rebooted DC Comics to the New 52, imagine you have a Bruce Wayne who's in his late 30s, about to hit his 40s, and he's now finding out that the Court of Owls exists. So the entire time he's been defending Gotham, patrolling the streets, going through every nook and cranny of the city, he's now been made aware that they exist. That would have been great.
I opened comic book shop at the exact same time, or a little bit after, or before the 52, and so I got I got several of them now. Though I can't read them. I'm not interested. That's not the DC that I remember, and I'm not necessarily happy about that. So yeah, I had a comic book shop for a while.
God bless you, Scotty.
Yeah, Scotty's having some kind of attack.
Yep.
Sound effect?
Hey, give a guy credit for muting himself.
Credit.
Yay!
Where can I say?
Trivia, and I will send you any painting that you want if you can answer these questions. The horror film quiz book.
Yeah, but is it cheaper to burn it?
Trust me, dude. Actually, yeah, I kind of need you to pay for the shipping, but I mean, I will.
Yeah, but you can burn it.
You guys need to understand. I sometimes sell these.
You said you were gonna burn it.
I sometimes sell these for $300. On average, though, they're about $165, $160. So
Yeah, you should totally sell them if you can.
Yeah, don't burn
no,
anything. You
actually,
can make some cheddar off of, dude.
Technically, I am. Though, what? Is this not a party? Is this not a party? I will give away some shit right now.
I am James Spader.
Questions 3.
James Spader in what, though?
Oh no, not good James Spader. Like, what was it? Less
Current
than
James
zero.
Spader?
Less than zero,
yeah.
James Spader.
Oh no.
Sex, Lies, and Videotape? Wasn't Spader in that one?
I haven't seen that one.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I bought White Castle. I still haven't seen it.
All right,
Jill-
somebody pick a number between.
Hey, Jill.
Jill writes that her favorite costume was when she was Princess Peach, but her best one was when she was a teenager and just a normal witch with a really great dress, and she painted her face white and looked wonderful.
Oh, that sounds wonderful.
Oh, that's
Well, simple costumes are the best.
I remember I was a really creepy looking clown when it was my first Halloween costume. I was like maybe 5.
A creepy looking what?
Clown.
Oh yeah,
Like
clowns.
a red. It had like a red jumpsuit with a black upside down triangle going down the middle with a big red
Terrifying.
balls hanging off of it. Painted white face, the red around here, a little black around the eyes, and like a pointy color of a hat or whatever, and different black stripes down the. It was just really creepy looking. Oh, Princess Daisy, she says, not Princess Peach. I don't know who Princess Daisy
I
is.
have to say I don't know. I mean, I barely know who Princess Peach is, and that's just because I'm dancing as fast as I can.
Yeah, Princess Peach is from the Super Mario universe.
Yeah, that I understand as a concept.
Hey, Scotty. I pulled this thing out of the horror book, and it says there may be some stings that may not necessarily be explained. What the fuck? I'm looking at this horror book, this book of serial killers and everything. There may be minor wear on cover. Some pages may have staining that cannot staining on outside. Yeah, and it goes into detail. And I'm going to freaking save this. I think I'm going to put that in the frame. I love that. That is super hot. All right, Nat. All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, we're going to play a game, and whether or not I end up sending.
Oh no! That's how Saw started.
Yeah, and he didn't have a turbo thruster in his chest.
What is it? Oh wait, no, this does not sound enticing.
Before you start your game,
Actually, I'm going to give you guys and let's start. Let's go youngest to oldest.
Wait, Ernesto was going to say something real quick, but your audio is really bad. So what is it?
Sorry, I have to skedaddle, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
Well, Ernesto, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
I'll be on the next one.
Hey,
Have
that
a
was
good
really
Is there any Richard? So
What?
Ernesto, is there anything else that you would like? Do you have anything to promote? What would you like to say? Or
Ernesto,
is
do you
there
have any-
anything that
Yeah.
you really No, Richard. Ernesto, is there anything that you are very passionate about that you want to endorse? Please continue towards your exit.
I have nothing to promote, but I do promote you all have a lovely evening.
You don't like okay. Well, thank you.
Goodbye.
Yeah, thanks.
Sweet dreams.
Bye.
See ya.
Oh, I missed Emilio going.
No, that was really fantastic. That was awesome.
So what's the game?
You had to go. You had to disappear into the darkness.
Yeah, okay,
I suggested a game, and I have no idea what the rules were.
well, I thought Richard was about to do something.
Actually,
Oh.
no, I bought the game. No. And I was, Ernesto,
Oh no!
his cloth over on, he pulled back into the shadows. And now,
You do sound like you're
Yeah,
broadcasting
darkness.
from the inside of a bug zapper.
pick a number, 1 through 100.
Told you.
75.
Wait, well, yeah, we're going to start with the cat and then follow up with tiger.
Seriously, inside of a bug zapper.
All right, I picked a number.
All right. In this case, now I need somebody else to pick another number. Go ahead and tell me the number that you picked, Kat.
75.
All right. Okay. This is where it's going to get really interesting. All right. Somebody pick a number. Pick a number between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
37.
10, 11. Okay, pick a number between 1 and 11.
11.
Huh?
11.
D.
Okay, well, okay, so this is up for Cat, and you guys are not going to get these. I'm going to tell you right now. Because I read this, and I'm like, oh my God, that is deep. All right.
Of course, 69, Phil. Of course.
I know. And this is actually slightly different than me actually painting. I will give away some painting. But anyway, the question is, well, Kat gets the first answer, all right? So then it can go to anybody else. If she gets it wrong, then it goes to anybody else. And then you get a point. All right, here's the game. The category is ghoulies. Do you guys know ghoulies? We were talking.
I'm familiar with the ghoulies, yes.
Yeah, we were talking about critters, krites and everything. But ghoulies was the ripoff of that, and then they got their freaking the most awesome freaking toys ever. All right.
By the way, this stream is not sponsored by the ghoulies.
Oh no, wow, he might be sponsored or something. All right. Peter Lipus plays Jonathan Graves in the original film, but how many other ghoulie films did he appear in? Anybody? Well, Cat first.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Anybody else? I don't know. Can you repeat the question?
I got the answers, but no. Anybody else? Come on. You're collecting your points here. Come on.
Repeat the question.
I have to mute myself. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you need to repeat the question?
Yeah, repeat it.
Peter Lipus plays Jonathan Graves in the original film, but in how many other Ghoulies films does he appear?
Okay, I've never seen any of the Ghoulies films, so I don't know.
Right. Okay, so it moves on to somebody else, and somebody gets a point. If anybody can answer this.
I don't think anybody can answer it.
Okay, all right, so nobody gets the point. All right, so now moving on, let's do Tiger. Pick a number 1 through, 100?
1.
101.
1.
No, she picked 1.
She picked 1. All right. Oh man, some of these. Oh my God, we got so many stories. I mean, I know a lot of these people. All right, so page 1. All right. Sorry. Page 1. This is all about the movie Halloween.
Okay.
And this is for Tiger first, though anybody can pick it up, and you get a point. And I'll find a way. I'll get an investor to I'll ship this shit to you.
I'll ship the shit.
All right, so somebody else. Okay, she picked number 1 out of 101. Now, somebody give me a number between 1 and 10.
11.
7.
7. All right. Here.
12.
Who shoots Michael Myers 6 times at the end of the first film?
Dr. Loomis.
All
Wait.
the time, Dr.
Wait.
Loomis.
No, Tiger's got a. Was that Tiger?
I have never seen Halloween.
That was me. I said that.
Yeah, that was Cat.
Tiger, do you so you've never seen it, so you do kind of acknowledge.
Cat answered your question.
Yeah. But well, the person you get to answer first, though. All right, so Cat gets 1 point. All right, that's kind of cool. All right, who's next? Scotty. Who else is here? Not me. I can't play.
Well, you were just judging the competition, sir.
Oh, I will judge. I will judge.
Anyway.
Anyway, no, Scotty. Pick a number 1 through 101.
You know I'm gonna pick 1200.
Do you want to?
I'm sorry. I'm a chaotic. I'm a Q. I enjoy the chaos. I hope to do good, but
Number
I'm
for
not
him.
necessarily moral.
Somebody pick a number 1 through 100.
102.
29.
29. All right. Here we go. Oh, this is gonna be good. Oh, I know this is gonna be good. And this actually is. Oh my God, this is awesome. All right, this is really good. Okay. All right.
Please tell us.
Now somebody 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. Okay. Somebody pick a number. Scotty, why don't you do something for once?
I will do something for once. What would you like me to do?
1 through 10.
I pick 6.
All right, man. This is cool. This is really cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh my God! Do you have one of those Foley things?
Now, see, normally I would be Tiger. I would be painting. Though in this case, I'm actually going to be giving away my painting. So, all right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who plays? Okay, the movie 1408. 1408. You guys remember that movie?
Yeah.
It was based on a very excellent short story by Stephen King.
What was this?
1408. Yeah. Samuel Jackson and what's his name? You know, Beauty Boy. You know,
Cusack, John Cusack.
John Cusack. Yeah.
I have that movie.
It's not good.
It's a good.
It's not good.
It's not a patch on the short story, which is
Okay.
genuinely horrific.
Like, is it worth watching?
I thought it was.
Read the story.
This is an easy answer.
Yeah, that's a better answer. Yeah.
This is an easy
All right, so what's
question.
the question, Richard?
This is an easy question. Let Scotty have 10 seconds, and then
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Just ask the question already. You're slowing everything down.
This is my channel. I get the seconds.
who plays Gerald Olin, the hotel manager?
In what movie?
1408.
No,
I've
8.
never seen it. I've never seen it.
Okay, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
309. Is it Jenny?
Anybody else remember who was the?
I don't remember. It's been too long. I probably saw it in 2008, so I don't remember.
Why don't you just tell me the name of the movie you want to see?
All right. But it was Samuel Jackson. I mean, there's only 2 people in it. I mean,
Well, I'm sure the cast is more than just John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson.
Sure
There are
about
more
are you?
people.
all right.
Well, I
who's next
figure.
in line? Who's next in line? Because right now, Kat's got the. She's got the only point. Well, then, or is Steve playing?
This is
Steve's
the
got to
worst game
play.
show.
Where is
Steve's
Steve?
out doing something, and he says he's going to leave the stream soon. So we got to hurry this up.
Oh no, we don't.
Well, who started the stream?
Well, no. This is a presentation of the Fantasmagorium. Thank you so much for being here on our second annual Devil's Night celebration. We did this last year, and we're doing it again this year. We're doing this as an open forum, and
You don't
you
say
know
I
what?
talk.
Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. You say I talk too much, but
It sounds like you are inside an empty, hot Jiffy Pop.
that's possible. Yeah, that is possible.
Like it's not. There is no popcorn, but everything is foil and very, very hot.
There's an electronic reverb going on.
Yeah, it's
Something-
coming from Richard's, I think.
No,
Yeah.
it's not mine. Because I restarted.
No, it's not his.
Okay, and I restarted it.
And whose is it?
No, it's absolutely his.
I know I was being sarcastic.
Okay, fine.
What? Don't get angry. I'm just saying.
No, I'm not angry. I'm literally. You
I
paid me.
think your audio
Yeah.
is lovely.
It wasn't like this before. I don't know what happened.
I don't know. He
It
was
went
struck
off the
by
rails
lightning.
at some point.
Like, should we? Like, is he in the middle of a horror movie?
Oh, look, there's Steve. Steve gets to play.
Yeah.
What was it? 1408. What was the question?
Who
Well,
plays?
He was the hotel manager.
The hotel. Oh. I don't know.
Hinties.
Isaiah Whitlock Jr. I think.
Okay.
Oh, is it? Oh shit. Let me double check.
Is that the manager or the?
It's over there. No,
There's
I thought it was.
There's only
somebody
two
else.
people in the movie, Steve.
I
Yeah.
can't remember. I can't
there's
remember. I don't
Literally
think
only
that's
two
right.
people in the movie.
He's
Well,
in the
Samuel L.
movie,
Jackson,
but-
then.
Did anyone ever see? What was it called? The Genetic Opera.
Yeah, Repo.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier.
We already talked about that, yeah.
Anyway, that's creepy. Sorry.
It's a good one.
And also, no, I already talked about Hellraiser 3.
That's hot. I didn't like it at first, but yeah, eventually
Well,
I
it had Jadzia Dax. So,
did. You're not wrong
cute.
there.
Those aren't really Hellraiser movies, man. Those are movies they slapped the Hellraiser brand on.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, for sure.
I like the reboot, the new Hellraiser on Hulu. I think was it Hulu or
Yeah, Hulu.
yeah, that was good.
But
I like
what are
I've
the,
got it. I haven't watched it yet.
Was it just a movie?
It was just a movie, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
It was interesting. It wasn't great,
Disturbing, really
but it
good.
was decent, a decent little
Well-
horror movie. I like the new Cinnabites. The costume design was cool.
I heard that was really good. I heard their costumes were impeccable.
They're really good.
You remember
and
was when I was doing that Hellraiser Cinescape, and then that's when I started painting and everything. But yeah, that was
you
last
paint?
1408. Okay, who was we already gave the answer away. Samuel L. Jackson.
Well, nobody was answering it, so yeah.
No, he said,
No.
well. All right, one last one. So, pick a number. And now we're at Tiger.
No, we started with Cat.
So have we?
Yes,
are we?
we've gone around. I think Cat wins. She's got a point.
He's got 1 point.
Yeah, so she wins.
she's got like 7.
Yeah, you're an absolute.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
Nothing. I was going to talk about my A to Z of serial killers. I was going to talk about any of the.
Oh, please
I
don't.
didn't
No,
get-
no.
I
Please
did not
don't.
get invited to ask or to answer any of the questions. So, yeah, am I a tad bit pissy? Yeah. Hey, you know what? Yeah, I was actually paid to be here.
Would you want to answer one of your own questions and win your own contest? I'm sorry. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Because you could.
Burn everything down here. It doesn't matter to me. Costume. I'm Iron Man now.
Mm. Dude, I almost
Dang
went
it,
to a,
no.
I almost went to a Toys R Us today to get an Iron Man helmet, and it was gonna be like $100.
I've got one in the other room.
Well, yeah, and I was gonna be like, this will be the thing that I do on my YouTube.
That would be kind of cool. Would it fit you though?
Well, no, and you know what, Tiger, you're absolutely right, because I just would have been wearing like a wife beater.
I kind of like that though. That'd be hilarious.
Did you really? Okay,
Low rent Iron Man.
all right.
Yep.
Well then, I guess I gotta go get myself.
No.
All right, I'll send you a painting, Kat. All right, I'm out of here. Thank you, and I love you. Good night. So long.
All right.
Well, and thank you to you, the Richard, again for being a creative and interesting. Like, I appreciate the Richard whenever he appears.
Yeah.
Very
He just,
creative.
his sound sounds like he's in like a metal container.
Oh, but he didn't start that way. It really,
No, I know,
when I
it's
got
weird.
here, his sound was fine.
Anyways, guys,
Not
it's
as
been
velvety.
it's been 3 hours and 40 minutes, and the kids got to work in the morning, so
Well,
I'm gonna go.
that's
Okay.
This has been awesome. It's always fun, getting together, especially when we can do these kind of special, second annual thing. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool. So you guys are welcome to, stay on and do whatever you want to do, but I'm gonna.
You know what? I think
I'm
I
gonna get
might.
ready.
I think I may also thank everyone for being here, and this is super fabu. And I think I may do a shenanigans. So
Hey, look at that. Perfect.
You mean like end the stream and then start a shenanigan?
yeah,
I don't know what that means.
It's make
You'll
a free for all.
find out.
Rambles about whatever subject, and then maybe you'll bring somebody on to talk about it.
Well, I mean, I like Jill's comment where she says, "Oh wait, maybe my best costume was when I went as Nefertiti, but everyone thought I was Cleopatra." And that reminds me of the time that I dressed as Cleopatra and went to the gay disco where all of the guys came around me and said, "Oh, Liz Taylor." So,
That's fun.
All right. So should we end the show, Scotty? Is that what you want to do?
I don't know. What do you want to do?
That's up to you.
Let's end the
Got
show.
all my horror media out. I got
yeah, sure.
Yeah, Cat's still got some stuff to
Steelbook.
some show and
That's
tell.
fine.
I think.
We still okay. Wait,
Still-
hang on.
what?
Nothing.
Stop taking dramatic pauses and just tell us what it is.
I'm shattering all over the place.
Yes. You Shatnered all over the room.
Nothing? Then nothing? Okay, he has nothing.
Let's see them Steelbook.
I got a lot of horror steelbooks. So here's
Oh,
Alien,
Cool.
groovy.
40th anniversary. With the xenomorph on the back. This one's really nice. This is one of my favorites for the artwork. Very glossy, nice design.
Mhm.
For Giger. I got the steelbook Alien Covenant.
Nice.
That's another one that's kind of.
I actually like that movie. People shit on it a lot, but I like it.
The only part I really didn't like was the part where they tell you what the alien that the guy made the alien. I'm like, this is a dumb reason, but the rest of it was fine.
I did not see Covenant because I hated Prometheus so very much.
Mm,
It was
Sorry.
very different from Prometheus. It felt more like it was an alien movie rather than whatever
Yeah.
Prometheus was trying to
I
be.
agree. I agree with that.
Now I got the original Nightmare on Elm Street. This
Ooh.
just came out on Steelbook like a year or two ago, and it's just a regular Blu-ray. I thought of all movies I would get of Wes Craven's movies, get 4K would be this, but it did not, surprisingly, because this is a new release. Likewise, I have a Blu-ray Steelbook of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That I kind of like that it's regular Blu-ray though, because this movie looks better when it's grimy and grainy and run down. That's what gives the movie its flavor.
Yes.
That makes it quite good, as opposed to like this is a fun story. So the original Texas Chainsaw. This is the DVD Steelbook I got in 2004, and back in the 90s, I read the title for the first time in the newsprint on TV Guide magazine, but it was always on a pay station, so I couldn't watch it. And I think when I was 7 years old, I went to like this haunted house thing. They had, corn maze, hayride, or whatever. And there's a portion where you're on the hayride through the corn maze where somebody dressed as Leatherface just comes out with a real chainsaw, cutting through the corn stalks, just scaring the hell out of everybody.
Yes.
And somebody on the hayride says, "Oh yeah, that's the guy from Texas Chainsaw." I'm like, "Oh, okay," because I didn't know who that was yet. So fast forward to 2004, and when I finally saw this at the store, I'm like, I got to get this.
Yeah.
And I told myself I was going to wait till nightfall to watch it. I didn't. I watched it in the afternoon. I didn't know how to take it because it's like, that was a really funny movie. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be. So then I watched the wonderful making of documentary. Had a great appreciation for how they made it. Definition of guerrilla filmmaking.
Yeah.
But Toby Hooper mentions that he meant for it to also be seen as really funny, that he was surprised and disappointed that a lot of the critics didn't pick up on the humor. So I watched it again with that renewed appreciation, understanding that it's okay to laugh at this. And I loved it after that. It's like, fantastic movie. Let's see. Oh, Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds.
Nice.
That's a 4K there.
Good horror movie.
Great movie there. The two, let's see, the It Chapter 1 and 2
Very
that
nice.
came out in the last few years. Those are also 4K. Those are nice. Oh yeah, as I showed a little bit earlier, I got the original Scream. It says, "Do you like scary movies?" At the phone on the back. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Brand new release just a few weeks ago. Scream 2, another 4K steelbook. Oh, Sydney, remember me? And then, of course, the new Scream 5. That's not clever for
There
that.
are 5 of them?
There's 5 of them now, yes. So far, only 3 steelbooks, though. They're releasing them once every October, so that means Scream 6 will have its steelbook out before the steelbooks of Scream 3 or 4. And then if they make a 7th, the same will follow suit. And this is the uncut Psycho Uncut. So the story behind this is that for some reason the TV edited version was being put out on home media and on TV and in revival screenings for 60 years. And these German Hitchcock superfans watched it on TV a few years ago, and I guess the TV station that aired it got a hold of a original print from a local theater that went out of business. And these superfans who've seen Psycho like hundreds of times noticed that it was different. Like it's a different extended edit of the shower sequence and a different extended edit of when Norman finds Marion's body in the aftermath of it. Only 71 seconds longer, so not much. But the fact that it's been like lost for so long and nobody knew it was edited for TV, and they had just put out a 4K steelbook the year before in 2020, which I have, and this is being the uncut. I'm like, I had to get the uncut version. So it's kind of funny when you think about all the people who've studied the shower sequence and how perfect it is. Even there was a documentary made about it recently called 7852, and that's technically not accurate anymore because it's not the uncut version, which is a different edit.
Wow.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's kind of
amazing.
neat.
I adore your passion. You know what? That is exactly the passion. Okay. And I'm not saying you have better taste than me, Kat. I think we're agreed. But I like when you say things that it's like, okay, this is why, and this is what, and this is how, and I love it. And you define exactly why you appreciate something. And it fills my heart just how much Well, no, but you say it like you make love science of movies. Of movies. I'm not saying this for the rest of the world. I'm just saying this like when you're like, okay, so this works, this doesn't work. This is fine, this is all right. And like it is a beautiful mind.
Thank you.
More, please.
Yeah,
I-
exactly.
More.
Okay, so here is why I bring it up.
Oh no, I really meant from Cat.
No, I know you. So what is this the best zombie movie?
No, because it's not. He's dead, and he's not like dead alive like zombies.
Yeah. He's
But
just
they
dead.
make him. They make him.
Is it Weekend at
No.
Bernie's?
Yeah, no.
Nice try, Scott, but nope. That's a no.
All right.
All right.
Maybe
Also,
Ghost Rider.
brand new released 4K steelbook. Fright Night.
Oh, yeah.
The original.
Ooh.
These are the types I like the most because they don't have any text on it. It's just the image, which is all it really needs.
And besides, wasn't Weekend with at Bernie's just a remake of The Trouble with Harry?
Sort of. Yeah, it's
Oh,
another
no.
version of that. But Trouble with Harry, yeah, because Trouble with Harry was also a comedy, but it was a little different in terms of the set pieces. Like the Weekend at Bernie's, of course, is like the 20-somethings having a beach party, whereas
Sure,
Trouble
beach
with Harry is
party.
on a golf course and goes everywhere. Yeah, and this is actually a 3D set too for Fright Night, which is pretty cool.
I
Yeah.
thought Trouble with Harry was a Woody
Redisc
Allen
for
movie.
Fright Night. How do they stretch that out?
So
Special
it's got,
features out
the
the
4K movie, the Blu-ray copy of the movie, and then the Blu-ray disc of bonus features.
Dag.
And of course, we'd be remiss without. Of course, we mentioned this movie a million times tonight, but gotta bring it up again. The Thing.
Never heard of it.
Steelbook. I kind of wish they went with this image from the classic poster for the cover. Still,
Get a little
still-
closer with that. What's the cover?
this on the back is the original poster
Oh,
cover, but
Right.
it was a lot brighter midnight type blue with blacks on it, whereas this is the cover they picked for the Steelbook.
What is it? Is it the
So it's a guy,
it's the
one of the
face.
guys who's
The
got like
morphing face.
you just can't see his
Well,
face.
isn't
And
that
this is
the
also like
Cruisin'?
the
Yeah.
body that they picked up
Yeah,
from
the body in the snow. Right.
Yeah. So then let's see. Oh, another one.
Yeah,
for
I
the
agree.
Steelbook.
That's a poor choice for a cover.
Yeah, and then this one they just put out last month, The Fog.
Oh, yeah.
That,
I was
that's
going to bring the fog up earlier. It's
I should have mentioned that in underrated because the characters I could care less about and they don't write and the story's not very good, but it's the epitome of atmosphere, perfect textbook definition, and the scene in the lighthouse I thought is really terrifying. But
I don't like the fog.
I like The Fog.
I saw it back in the day, and I haven't really seen it since. But I do remember it has pirates.
Yeah, it's like the
Good,
pirate
yeah.
colony.
It does.
Here's a Friday the 13th killer cut. This is the 2009 version. The remake, I actually thought this was pretty good as far as horror remakes go. I mean, it was a fun slasher film. And of course, that's followed up with the original Friday the 13th. Killer Mommy Killer. This is just the regular Blu-ray. They just put it out in 4K, which I won't be getting because I kind of like the I was fine with it. And then part 2 with the axe. You're doomed. You're all doomed. And of course, the one that just arrived in the mail, part 3. That's be right back. The 4th one comes out on Steelbook in January. Let's see what else have I got here. Oh yes, and now for the classics, we have Dracula, 1931.
Cool. Yeah.
Art
that
by
looks
Alex
cool.
Ross. These are just the regular Blu-ray versions. The new 4Ks that they just put out, I think the only one which benefits is Dracula because that admittedly had a lot of flickering in the Blu-ray version. Frankenstein. This is just probably one of my favorite covers ever. Look at this.
Cool
It's just classic Frankenstein. He doesn't even kidnap a bride in this movie, but it's like they put it on there anyway. But it just fits. And in that spirit, we have, of course, The Bride of Frankenstein. By Alex Ross. I mean, it's funny because the title and the premise, you think it's going to be like a really schlocky sequel, but then it's not. It's actually really good. The Mummy from 1932.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
Oh, Karloff.
Yeah.
Anything with Karloff.
Oh my God, that is the sexiest thing that I never expected to hear today.
The Invisible Man.
Yeah, cool. What did
This
you
one I
think of
think
that
holds up the
remake?
most because it's kind of like a dark comedy more than a horror film, but it's so I think it holds up the best.
Kat,
And
what
it's
did
really
you
funny.
what did you
Clark
think of
Rains is
that?
so good in that role.
What did you think of the Invisible Man remake, the Blumhouse one?
Oh, from the one that Liam Whannell did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it
I
was really
never
good.
saw it.
I thought it was
Excellent.
good too.
It brings back tension and suspense, emphasizes it.
Well,
Yeah.
okay.
The Wolf Man.
But
Oh,
what
yeah.
did you guys?
Classic.
What did you guys think of the Kevin
And
Bacon?
last but not least,
All right, let's keep going.
Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
Now get
That's
that a little closer.
racist.
I want to see the cover. Let me see the cover.
So here, yeah, it's like Jaws.
Ooh, gorgeous, beautiful.
Yeah.
That's
That's
great.
so cool. But those are all. These all came out like
Thank you.
6 years ago. And then my 3 Arrow horrors, or if you call them that. This one for Dario Argento, The Bird with the Crystal Plumage.
Oh yeah. Good
Murder
one.
mystery, but it has a certain horror-esque type feels to it. Deep Red horror film. That was really good. And then also all of these are Dario Argento, and then finally The Cat o' Nine Tails.
Yeah.
All those are great horror.
Good.
So yeah, that's my big horror collection. And then Tremors, but Tremors is a horror film, but yeah.
Yes, it is. It counts.
Yeah.
It's a very
I should have had you on full
Is
screen for that.
not.
Sorry about that, Kat. I should have put you on the full screen.
Oh, it's all right.
Share those.
Tremors is not a horror movie.
It's a send up, like kind of like the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's kind of like a send up of the, the B horror movies of the 50s and the 60s.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Tremors is like a send up of those old monster movies as well.
It's a monster movie. It's not a horror movie.
Monster movies are a subgenre of horror.
Yeah, just like the slasher genre is a subgenre of horror, or the found footage subgenre. And in the spirit of found footage, the first Cloverfield I think was also pretty good.
Oh God, it was heartbreaking.
I do put
Gutted
the
me.
television show of The Office in the same category as the Blair Witch Project because they are
I didn't like the Blair Witch
found footage.
The thing I really didn't like about Blair Witch is that, okay, if you're going to do found footage, that means you're not going to have good cinematography. You're not going to have good music to help set the tone.
Yeah.
So you got to really make sure the characters in the scenario are really engaging. I just found it wasn't. I thought the characters were too unbelievably stupid. And the idea that they're supposed to be
I was fine with them.
they should be filming better. And then the way you finally get to where it might get good at the climax, and it just kind of ends. And it's like,
The best found footage horror found footage is Cannibal Holocaust and Cannibal Ferox.
I thought it was Cloverfield.
No. I've heard. Oh, I have not seen Cannibal Holocaust. I've heard a lot about it though.
It's really. I saw it in the theater with the filmmakers. Did a little Q&A before they showed the film. It was really cool. Downtown LA.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice. Very disturbing film.
Oh, sure.
Tentacles.
I'm probably going to take all of my Criterions off the shelf because those are the most durable cases I have, and to make room for all my steelbooks, which are just everywhere because I have a surplus. That's it.
Well,
Okay,
now
you
that
lovely people, I am going to sign off.
and I think I'm going to agree. So while we are leaving, I'm sure that we'll find each other. Don't know where, don't know when, but we'll meet again some sunny day.
Well, thanks very much for having me. This is a blast. Scotty, I did send you a Twitter DM. You got to read it and reply.
Well, and Tiger Stripes, I think that you and I are going to be having we're going to be going to the Shire. Is there going to be a Middle Earth?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go. Yes, Tiger Stripes is going to take me on a journey.
I love those first 3 Lord of the Rings movies. Oh, God, I love them. Extended cuts. I got the Steelbook box sets of actually both trilogies up there.
Oh, Cat.
I love Lord of the Rings.
So, yeah.
So thank you to all of our guests and everybody in the chat. Thanks for keeping it lively in there. And I think that's going to do it for us tonight, Scott. What do you think?
I don't care.
mean, if you guys want to stay on, that's fine. I'm gonna go. I need to.
No, seriously, I think that this has been a celebration, and I
Mhm.
appreciate everyone who has been here. But I am in no capacity to host anything.
Okay.
I can tell.
We'll.
Well, you
we'll
got to
call
know
it
your
a day.
limitations. So let's just call it a day.
We will.
And thank you. We are 1 minute till Halloween. And thank you so much. I appreciate the friendship and the openness and the honesty.
Happy Halloween, y'all.
Happy
Yeah,
Halloween and
exactly.
Happy Devil's Night. So for Tiger Stripes, Catherine, Scotty R37, I am Steve Foley. Have a great night, everybody.